What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 11.
11?
April Fools, episode 110. It is April 1st today, and we are going to be talking about Jordan Peele's new horror film, Us, which the entire world is talking about right now.
Whoa, don't talk so fast. Everyone's still laughing at that Ghostbuster.
The Ghostbuster?
Goofbuster?
Are we okay?
What?
My name is Mitch.
Hi, Mitch.
And with me today, I have my friends.
My name is Toothless Joe, a.k.a. Diego.
And beside Joe...
Did you name yourself that, or did someone else give you that?
My dad.
Your dad called you Toothless Joe?
Yeah.
Because you gave him gummers?
Gummy.
Oh my god.
That was the joke I was going for. So.
This is terrible. Boozy, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we're the Terror Table.
This is the first time we've all been in a room together for like a while, because I haven't been on the last couple episodes.
And within seconds, we're talking about gummers.
Yeah, we're a horror podcast. We talk about horror movies, we talk about horror books, we talk about video games, we talk about TV shows, all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to talk about all things horror today. But yeah, before we get on with the show, I guess the little elephant in the room is that we were supposed to post this episode about a week ago, but 2 days before that I was called in for last minute surgery. This has been a thing that I've been waiting for about 2 years now. I finally got in, so I'm not going to bore everyone with that, but I had a left submandibular excised,
also known as a reverse circumcision.
No, I didn't get the reverse circumcision, but I had it excised, so it's a real surprise that I'm in so much pain, because the surgery was just the surgeon standing and screaming over top of me, let the power of the scalpel compels you. The power of the scalpel compels you.
Yeah?
Anyways, I got my throat cut open. Yeah, no, I've been sitting on the couch. I've been sitting on the couch for the last week. I have another week off, but I haven't seen you guys in a while. I haven't seen humans in a while, so I'm really happy to have you guys here.
Courtney not count?
No, she's barely a human.
Man, she fucking was dicking around with your blood bag. I'd give her more credit than that.
Yeah, I had...
That poor woman.
So what happened to break this down is I had a salivary stone in my salivary gland. So what that means is, imagine a kidney stone, but in your salivary gland. So it was blocking whenever I'd eat. I would, saliva would build up and my neck would kind of get swelled up. It's gross. Yeah, it's terrible. Anyways, they cut me open.
I thought you were just fat.
No, thanks. But they took out the stone and they found 2 stones in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently, and they were 2 centimeters each.
Shit, you almost died.
It was a heavy surgery. The surgery was no joke. I got out of the surgery and I had a tube coming out of my neck that was draining blood into a blood bag. This is fucking disgusting. But it was Courtney's job to drain my blood bag because it would fill up.
I hope no one's eating while they're listening to this.
That was very metal.
Did you get to keep the stones?
No, I wanted to, but...
they don't offer that?
Well, I didn't ask them before. I was just making jokes, and then they put me under. So, I think they cut me off before I could request.
They're like, hurry up, this guy's doing a stand-up routine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but yeah, before we get on with the show, I'm going to talk about what we have coming up the next few weeks. So next week, we're going to be doing an episode on Pet Sematary, the new reboot that is hitting theaters this Thursday. So all 3 of us are going to see it, as well as the full... book club table is going to be there as well as our guest who's going to be on the show, our friend Craig Silliphant. He was on for our Dawn of the Dead episode. Craig's become a good buddy of ours, but he's coming with us to Pet Sematary, and then we're going to have him on the show on Tuesday to talk about it, so a week from tomorrow. Looking forward to that. After that, we are going to be doing a book club episode. Diego's going to be gone for a couple more episodes, but our book club episode is going to be same as the last one, but we're going to mainly just talk about books this time. We're not going to have any of the fat to trim. Boozy's reviewing the book Thor by Wayne Smith, which is what Bad Moon is based off of. I'll be reviewing The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, as well as Black Hole by Charles Burns.
Black Hole, son.
Tara, what are you doing?
You okay?
There's like a nail somewhere down here.
Oh, good.
Oh, I see it. No, I don't.
Tara is reading Cannibalism, A Perfectly Natural History by Bill Shute, and Courtney is reviewing A Serial Killer's Daughter by Carrie Rawson. All that being said, also want to give a huge shout out to our book club host, Tara, my sister. It was her birthday yesterday, or the day before that. So happy birthday, Tara.
Happy birthday.
We'll see you on Thursday.
But
yeah, I guess we can get on with the show, talk about what we've been seeing and what we've been up to. I have been on the couch for a week, so I've seen a lot. You guys are going to listen to me talk today. I encourage you to
Just don't hurt yourself.
talk. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. But this is already the most I've talked in 2 weeks, so that's why I've kind of forgotten how to do so. But I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go first. That's probably the least. Or do you have not a lot?
I have a couple.
Okay, I'll go first.
Diego, what have you been up to in the horror world?
Just in the horror world.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Is that a slight at Captain Marvel?
No, well, we usually talk about Marvel stuff every once in a while.
Yeah,
too.
we talk about Marvel and Star Wars
Yeah.
and shit like that.
I saw Captain Marvel.
What'd you think of it?
It was good.
I felt the same way.
It's the thing is, and
What a glowing review.
well, no, it was good. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it's not that
It
good,
was a good, yeah, but it's not that good.
No, it
And-
feels like a first phase.
I don't know what. That's a good way of putting it, actually. Yeah, the whole time I felt something was missing from it, and then I realized it was a male hero. I'm kidding. I love Brie Larson.
There wasn't enough representation.
That's fucking terrible.
No, I love Brie Larson. I think she nailed Captain Marvel
Yeah.
pretty well. But the rest of the movie,
I thought she kind of sucked.
well, I liked her as Captain Marvel. But the thing is, with a movie like that, it just felt kind of rushed. Because like that's a hard character to try and fit everything in all at once.
No kidding, and this late in the game.
Yeah, and like I know that the thing is, I still enjoyed it. It's still a
Yeah.
Marvel movie I enjoyed, but the thing is, it felt like they kind of were like, we need to put this movie out so we can explain why she's in Endgame.
That's totally how it kind of
Yeah.
feels, yeah. And the scale, it seems a little smaller. It
Yeah.
feels like a first phase
Well,
scale,
and
but
the thing is too, like even like a lot of it, like it just lacked an impact. Even like literally and like. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Figuratively.
Well, literally, it like I felt like a lot of the fights and stuff just felt kind of like lackluster, and I don't feel like the movie really
and
had an impact other than to set up her being an Endgame.
also, yeah, and I said I thought Brie Larson sucked in it. I should clarify. I think Brie Larson is an incredible actress. I think she's so far above a role like this.
Yeah, well,
like, I feel like I would have so much rather seen her doing something with more substance. Like, and that's coming from someone who loves Avengers.
And that's the thing.
Like,
I thought she was great as Captain Marvel, but you just can't do a lot with her character in 2 hours.
Who would you rather have be Captain Marvel?
No, I thought she was great as Captain Marvel.
for me, I don't even know who I'd cast in that role, but like maybe Kate Beckinsale, so she could stop banging that fucking Pete Thompson guy, or whatever. Like
Pete Davidson.
Davidson, yeah. I think Pete Davidson's hilarious, but this world is out of control if
Yeah.
he's dating Kate Beckinsale. Come on, guys.
And he almost married Ariana Grande.
Yeah, that makes no fucking sense. Guy must have a massive dong.
Apparently, he does.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Anyway,
No, but what was I going to say about? Oh yeah, how do you feel about? Because obviously, Stranger Things, all these other shows have brought the resurgence of like '80s nostalgia.
Oh.
This is '90s through the roof. She's wearing a Nine Inch Nails shirt. The
yeah,
entire
but
movie.
to be honest, other than like small things like that, I felt like they barely touched on '90s at all. Like other than like her crashing on the Blockbuster and like the shirt here and there.
I can say that I don't think would have ever imagined me wanting a fight scene of a girl kicking a bunch of alien ass to No Doubts. I'm just a girl.
Well, I like that. It was pretty good.
I thought that was terrible.
Oh, I liked it. But another thing though is I don't like how they handled the Skrulls at all.
I think that's what I liked about it.
Really?
Because I didn't see the twist.
Yeah, but
I didn't see that twist.
I hated that. I hated that a lot because Skrulls are not supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
They're like, and then like to change it like that right away. So I thought there was gonna be like another twist.
Yeah.
And like a double cross thing, and that was after there wasn't. I was like, okay, doesn't make any sense.
For me, it was good, but Marvel's just proven to be able to do so much better that it didn't do a lot.
Yeah,
for me.
like again, like it was not the best. It was still a good movie, but not the greatest.
It's
Marvel
not even
movie
in the
I've seen
top 15 Marvel movies.
No. But I think she'll do better in Endgame now that like the movie's out of the way and now her character's established.
That's like in a month.
I know.
I'm so fucking excited.
know.
All right, what else do you watch? Did you watch any horror movies?
Well, I binged not all of, but most of Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay, Boozy, you watched it too, hey?
Yeah, it is.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I think I have like 3 left.
Okay.
I've seen the first 4 episodes. Let's talk about that.
What's your favorite out of the first 4?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. It's not really for me, but
Really?
I think it's really good. But I'm stoked for people to have this new. So it's an anthology show.
It's an animated anthology.
It's on Netflix, and it's just all these different short stories, short films of animated sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
shit. And like it looks real cool. Like I thought the first episode was pretty cool with the monsters and shit like that.
We'll see. And I love it because so far, like almost every episode I've seen, it feels like they've done a good job of making it feel like I've already watched something that.
Yeah, they encapsulate all the plot points of a full movie.
Where I feel like I know what's going on.
And you kind of know the characters. Yeah, you're very template.
You're dropped into like a almost well lived in environment.
Yeah, like did you watch the one where the mercenaries fight with the cats and Dracula?
No, I did not watch that.
Did you watch that one?
Yes,
that one's fucking awesome. Yeah,
it's so strange.
Yeah. What about the 3 robots?
3 robots was awesome.
That's the second.
I was on so
one.
much dilaudid, you guys. Like,
Okay.
like that was right when I got out of the hospital.
What do you think so far?
It's good. I find that some of the more serious ones are honestly the ones I don't like as much, because I know a lot of people said like, oh, the very first one was like the best one, and I thought that one was a little too much.
Yeah, it is cool though. It
is cool, and I like all the different art styles. Is that you have so many different kinds. I would say so far the ones I've seen, the one that was the most exciting to me was the farming one.
Oh yeah, that one is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
holy shit.
It was such a cool idea for a story, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and you felt like you knew like it was okay. Everything that
that's
happened.
the thing, and that's a good example of one of those ones where it's like you feel like you've already watched a full movie of it up until that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should watch that one.
Yeah, I intend on going back to it, but just not something that's generally grabbed me. And like I can see like there's tons of people online who are just praising it and loving it, and like that's awesome. If you guys, I'm happy that there's a new show that so many people are enjoying,
and I love it too because all the episodes are so short.
Yeah,
so
it's really easily digestible.
Yeah. Another good one I thought was really good was the werewolf one in the army.
See, that was the only one that threw me off.
Oh,
because
really?
They're all supposed to be, I guess they don't have to include robots, but that was the only one I remember that really stuck out that didn't have like any other than the Dracula one, I guess.
Yeah.
It was those two.
Those are the ones I want to watch.
Were kind of about
I like the
just
idea of that.
death. The werewolf one was a very cool idea, and I like the concept of it.
It was like Dog Soldiers, but not.
Yeah, it was like a full-blown concept.
It was like American Wolf in London, but nothing like that.
Anyway, so yeah, I've been watching that. I watched about 40 more episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Does it get more bizarre?
It does get more bizarre. And I'm on the last episode of the Stardust Crusaders Ark, and I'm about to enter the Golden Wind Ark. So
okay, so you've talked about this before. Quick recap. What's JoJo again?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an anime. That's the only reason why I got Crunchyroll, whole subscription.
Would you have preferred a soft roll?
Man, you're killing it today.
It's one of those jokes where I don't even know what to do.
That's called a roadblock joke.
I'll be here for the next 2 hours, people.
Basically, this family called the Joestars. There's Joseph Joestar, Jonathan Joestar, and then the Stardust Crusaders Ark, the Jotaro Joestar.
Right.
Yeah, they fight vampires and stuff.
You could literally have just been speaking complete Chinese.
I could be making this whole thing.
Yeah, you could just be making it up as you go along. We'd be like, oh wow, that sounds nice.
And then the Stardust Crusaders Ark, they all have these things called stands, and they're basically telekinetic heroes that appear beside them that all have different powers.
Bullshit.
I'm dead serious.
They're
fucking
they're
wild.
their biggest fans.
Sweet. All right, so you recommend that on Crunchyroll?
I do. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and all the characters are named like the main villain. His name is Dio, like named after like. Roger.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh cool.
And like there's a guy named Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
Yeah. Oh weird.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been watching that just because I'm addicted to it. I rewatched The House at Jackboat with Alex, actually.
Oh, yes. Okay, so quickly, we've talked about this before, but to provide context for Alex, he's our musician friend who fainted while watching Antichrist.
Yeah, he couldn't handle the click cut.
Yeah, which, I get it. I understand that.
No, he was, he had nightmares.
Yeah.
after the movie. He liked it. He said he really liked it. He liked it more than Antichrist. He likes Lars von... He doesn't like Lars von Trier, but he does like the way he styles his movies sometimes. Because you know how Alex is.
Yeah.
But no, he really liked it, and I liked watching it again, because that was only the second time I've seen it.
Yeah,
so
I want to get it on Blu-ray.
It was cool watching it again, like, understanding it a bit more and like knowing things about a bit better.
I think we like that movie more than a lot of people do.
I know. I don't know if that says something about what did you like about it?
We're all sexist pigs, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What a world to live in.
I still love Incident 3 the best.
Yeah,
Alex,
that's the most disgusting.
That's when
one.
Alex was like, "This is fucked." He's like, "This is fucked up." I played and beat Devil May Cry 5 3 times.
Wow.
And then traded it in a week.
Okay, I just have to ask because I'm probably the least video gamey of us. Why play a game like that? You're playing like the campaign.
Yeah.
Why do it multiple times?
Because when you play it on the first difficulty, it's a bit easy. Then you play it again on the next difficulty that you unlock, because then it's harder and there's different enemy placements and stuff.
I understand that, but does it really change any of the actual game?
It gets harder and there's different enemy placements.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it just gives me more of a challenge, which I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I go, because the thing is, you miss some stuff on the first playthrough, so then when you go into the next playthrough, you just kind of clean up. And then the one of the difficulties you unlock after that is called Heaven or Hell mode, and it's where all the enemies die in one hit, but also you.
Oh.
So you just rush through the whole thing, shooting everything, and everything dies in one hit. So it's just, you do it for the trophy, basically.
Okay.
How does the devil cry?
He doesn't sometimes. He only may cry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the name of Dante's demon hunting agency.
Okay, yeah, because I loved the Devil May Cry games back in the day, but I feel like I've been out of it for so long. And
Devil May Cry 5 is the best one, but you need to play 4.
Yeah, and see, that's what it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, but it's literally like takes place after 4, so you won't understand fucking anything.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand most things.
And then Sekiro.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, you busy? I'm just kidding.
Not gonna explain that.
No. So Sekiro is a game I've been waiting for 2 years now, maybe. As soon as it was announced at E3. Same game, same creators of Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
Mm.
And
Go on.
Yeah, I love, and those games like consume me. Like as soon as they like, I that's why I've barely been watching anything except for like things I could binge, like JoJo or Love, Death and Robots, because other than that, my entire energy is spent on Sekiro.
Just so you know, like 3 episodes of a TV show equals 1 movie.
I know, but JoJo.
Yeah, if you watch what you like,
Yeah.
if you enjoy it, sweet. So you're liking Sekiro.
I'm loving Sekiro. Yeah. So he plays a samurai, gets his arm cut off, and be like Spider-Man basically, and grapple around and you fight demons and samurais. It's real cool.
Yeah, it's really violent.
It's really violent. It's very fucking hard and but very rewarding.
Yeah, it's consuming my other friends group.
Yeah.
They're all loving it. So
We're all loving it. And I think that's it. I watched Whiplash too, but that's it.
Whiplash.
I watched it again.
I just watched it again recently.
It's a good movie.
One of the best movies.
Yeah.
So good.
You like Whiplash?
I don't know what Whiplash is.
Oh, you should watch it. You'd
With
love it.
J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller about the jazz drums.
Yeah,
J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
it's
Dobby's
one.
gay, you know.
It's one of those movies that like you watch the trailer and you're like, "There's no way I would like this." Like it's because it's about jazz drumming, but it's one of the most intense, fucking awesome movies.
It's so good.
It is so good. Yeah, you'd love it. I just showed it to Courtney. It's 10 out of 10. Boozy, what have you been up to? What have you been watching in the horror world that isn't American Pie 2?
Actually, I was watching Wedding last night, but I won't talk about
That bachelor party scene, though.
I
Skin was
watched Skeeter from 1993.
Oh, yeah, the Cum movie. We were talking about this last time.
Cum movie.
Skeet.
Yeah, skeet to the window.
Do you actually not remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about this
No.
being the Cum movie?
I don't remember what I ate yesterday.
Because you bought this from Tyler Baptist.
Yeah.
And
it's a 3-pack.
Yeah, and I with XTRO 1 and XTRO 2.
Yeah. So I watched Skeeter. You can tell that basically you kind of learn after watching a lot of low budget movies that you can tell when they ran out of budget and where they put it by how much they wander around in basically open areas where it doesn't matter if you film in that location. You know, it's a cheap locations. It's like they're just randomly on ranches all the time, which kind of fits the story because that's where they are. But at the same time, it feels like they filled out the timeline by just wandering around a lot. The actual bugs are super cool, but you don't really get to see them ever. And like the artwork's super cool for it.
Yeah, just pull up the artwork here.
It's kind of like a ripoff of Aliens.
Yeah, I think all of these movies are kind
Yeah.
of the sort
What
of
isn't a
ripoff.
ripoff of Aliens these days? Am I right?
Captain Marvel.
No, even that.
Yeah, there's lots of alien shit in that.
So yeah, it's not great if you're not into like B movies.
It's
I guess-
rocking a 3 out of 10 on IMDb here.
Yeah, it's not great.
But you don't go into a movie like Skeeter expecting
Yeah.
fucking...
Well, no, but I like watching a lot of those movies because of the special effects. Like I don't know if you guys remember Ticks. Ticks has some really fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I don't, because that's gross.
That one, what, Slugs? I think Slugs.
Well, actually, if you look up Ticks, the cast for it is insane. There's a lot of big time actors kind of before they got their bigger roles were in it. Anyway, I ended up watching XTRO 1. XTRO 1 is really cool in terms of It's such a strange...
Carlton's in Ticks. Sorry to cut you
There's someone
off.
else too.
Alfonso Ribeiro?
Yeah, it's Seth Green.
Yeah, it's Seth Green. Yeah. Like a very young Seth Green.
Clint Howard.
But XTRO 1 is insane. If you want to watch a full-grown man be birthed out of a woman, there's a lot of really cool special effects.
Don't they do that in Twins? Or no, what's the one about what Arnold Schwarzenegger's pregnant?
Junior?
Yeah, okay, sorry.
What?
Sorry, you've never seen Junior?
No.
Okay, keep talking.
I'm trying to talk about XTRO.
XTRO and Junior would be a pretty great double feature. You'll love this poster cover. Okay, you just keep talking. I'll look it up.
Off track now.
XTRO.
XTRO. There's some really cool shit. Halfway through, this kid it doesn't ruin the plot, but this kid kind of gets magical powers, and he takes out his powers on anyone who oh no, on anyone who does anything wrong to him. But he can possess toys and stuff. So at one point he has an actual soldier with a cap gun go into this guy's room and blow his head off. And for some reason he has a jaguar. A jaguar comes to life and is living in his apartment. It's really weird. And the special effects are cool. That's where they spent a ton of their budget. So those two movies are a lot of fun. I think XTRO 2 is a lot more fun. And then the last thing which I posted about is I watched the first of 6 Alien short films, and this one's called Containment.
I watched it as well.
I think I've watched it 6 times now.
Holy fuck, is it? Why?
Huh? It's 9 minutes.
Oh, so that's a whole hour worth almost.
Yeah.
What do you get 9 times out of that?
This is kind of what I've always wanted from Alien. It's just small stories about things that happen. Because you can fill in the rest of what happens or what did happen yourself, and that's kind of the excitement of it. And I think it was done so well. And it's really smart is that these movies know that they can't, or short films know that they can't keep up with any of these sort of effects, even of the original one, just for what it is. So the way that they shoot around those, where you still understand what's going on if you've seen any of the other films, is really impressive.
Yeah, I watched it as well, and it's cool.
Yeah,
it's got really good acting in it as well, and
I was surprised.
Yeah, and what I find most impressive about it is how they've managed to it's a contained, no pun intended, contained scale short.
That's the best joke you've told all day.
Well, it's literally all in the skate pod.
Yeah, but it looks really well done, and I'm looking forward to following up and keeping track of all of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through. I hope to see every single. I remember the 5 minutes after it came out and went and watched it on YouTube. I was at work and I took a break from work. I was I need to go watch this.
You took a poo break.
Yeah.
What's the schedule for when they're releasing?
I believe it's every Friday
for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, up until Alien Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Sweet.
So yeah, that's all I've seen other than Love, Death, and Robots as well, which I think people should check out. Even if it's for those people who play video games and watch stuff on YouTube on their phone or whatever, it's perfect.
Real quick, did you watch the Hitler one?
The Hitler? I don't think I have seen.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. It's the shortest one. I think it's 5 minutes, but it's just it's like a fake app where it shows you the history. Everyone wants to know what happened. How if you killed Hitler with a bow and arrow or something.
Yeah.
And the app just shows what would happen in history if certain things happen that way.
Oh, cool.
It's cool.
I think if anyone wants to see just kind of what that show's about. Just literally, and it sounds like such a cop-out, but watch the first 2 episodes, because the very first one is very violent.
Such a different tone.
And then the second
nudity.
one...
There's tons of nudity
and extreme violence. And then 2 is called 3 Robots, and it's probably also one of my favorites, and it's just this little comedy bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a cool show. Sweet.
All right, Mitch, I know you got a lot to say. You're like that meme of that kid with the veins and everything.
The veins popping out his head. No,
yeah.
but I'm expecting you guys to interact with me as I do this too. So because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to start off with, I watched a couple TV show things. Starting off with the What We Do in the Shadows TV series pilot. So this is the American one, but it's written by Jermaine Clement and the first episode's directed by Taika Waititi. It's literally the exact same as the movie, so if you love the movie and wanted more of it, this is what you get. And I know that the 3 of us are big fans of it at the Terror Table here. The aesthetic, the writing, the cinematography, the humor, the characters, it's all on point with the movie. It's very, very similar. Or it's identically the same. It's almost like it's made for people who haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
but
then maybe you might want them to watch it.
What?
Might make them want to watch.
Yeah, hopefully. But like, because that's one of my favorite movies the last 10 years for sure. Like, I fucking love that movie. The humor in it. This is exactly my type of shit. I love The Office, so it's like The Office but with vampires.
That's actually a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's very similar. But I was nervous about this because the whole Americanizing something, especially something I already love, like. How's it going to translate? But I think they did a really good job of it so far.
Well, we'll see how the rest of the episodes do.
Yeah,
I guess.
But like, man, like I watched the first episode twice. It's so good. Like there was a couple parts where I was like violently laughing, like where it hurt my neck because I was like, oh damn. But yeah, my only question is that like. Like we'll have to see where the show goes, but there's a lot of retread from the movie in the first episode, but I think it's just they're laying the groundwork. They're all like completely different characters, but they're similar in their humor, and like you guys will both love it. Like it's fucking funny, and but I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here. And I know, it's coming out. I think next episode's in like 2 days.
Yeah, I think I'll just wait till it's all out
and then
watch
binge it.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's like there's a couple parts where I was just like gut laughing. Like it's fucking.
I don't know.
awesome.
I hate having to wait for next episodes.
I know, me too. But I was like, this one, I was just like, I just need to make sure it's what I want, and it is. Going on from that, our friends at Erie International are doing a series right now on Twilight Zone with the release of Jordan Peele's new TV show, which is airing tonight. It's premiering tonight.
Well, and apparently you could watch like on like the official one of their official YouTube channels. You could watch the episode there as well.
Really?
Yeah. So like you don't have to pirate it or anything. Like apparently it's going to be on YouTube to stream.
And if you can't find it there, usually someone uploads it to Pornhub.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's weird.
Okay, well,
no, that's a legit thing. If you want to go find episodes of shows that just came out because they get blocked everywhere, Pornhub always has movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you can be like, "No, Mom, I'm watching a show.
I'm watching Monsters in University."
Also, I'm 28 years old. What are you doing, Mom? But no, I'm planning on watching that tonight when we're done here. But the 2 episodes that I started with are Mirror Image, which is one of Jordan Peele's favorite episodes, which is. It inspired us in some ways, so I want to give that one a watch. And I also watched
Wait, it inspired the Terror Table or the
us?
I know.
Yes, the Monsters Are Due, and the other one I watched is The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, which I believe is one of the most popular episodes of the Twilight Zone. It's got one of the highest ratings that I could find online. They hold up incredibly well. Like this show was filmed in like the 50s, between I think it's like 1954 to 1962. It could be completely wrong.
Well, yeah, time it's black and white.
Yeah, and most of it. Yeah, I think actually the original series is all black and white, but it's. I've only seen like certain episodes throughout my life. Like I've never been like a huge Twilight Zone guy, but it's definitely got me. It's like this is definitely my type of thing. Same with Diego. Like you love anthology stuff. Like
I've only seen like a couple episodes of. Like I've seen like the
Nightmare.
Terror at 30,000 feet or whatever it is, and the one where like the guy has like he like can stop time, but then he breaks the watch and then everything freezes.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I think that's how it ends.
Yeah. No, we don't need to watch it. But no, I'm
sure
looking.
there's an episode of Mona the Vampire about that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, Simpsons has spoofed Twilight Zone like countless times, but I definitely want to keep on watching these because I really enjoyed the 2 that I watched. The thing I will say about them is that so I realize that these take place in the Twilight Zone, so it's not technically reality or whatever. But everyone in these episodes just goes along with these outrageous situations and like it's a normal everyday thing. And these normal everyday people have weird levels of knowledge about the strangest things. Like in Mirror Image, there's which is basically about a woman realizing that she has a doppelganger and she's in this like bus terminal. Like she's waiting on a bus ride and she's I don't want to give too much of away. There's a doppelganger of her. She sees herself, and basically she gives exposition to how she once heard this person talk about alternate dimensions and mirroring reality, and like how your mirror image will want to take over your normal everyday life. And I don't know, it's weird, but I'm just like, how does she know this? Like that's a really weird thing to know. But
what would you do if you had a doppelganger?
I feel like we should talk about that later, but I would probably fuck it.
Oh.
No, I hate myself. I would kill it.
Really?
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, I think I'd play basketball with it. You know, work on
Duplicate?
on my threes, because you don't want to have to go back and get the ball after. So I'd be like, go get that for me. Please.
I would like. I've always thought about this a lot. No, like legit, I would fight it. Like I would want it to be like a sparring partner.
So would you like be like, hey, you have to train and come back in a year, and we'll have an epic fight?
Well, that would be the end goal. But I mean, like I would also just want to be like, hey, like you want to fight, and be like, okay, let's fight, like that kind of thing. I think that'd be so fun.
You are your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
The first person in the world to have a doppelganger who just fights it the whole time.
That'd be so cool because like you know I love fighting and shit, but I never like actually get the opportunity to fight another person or like train with much people. Like every once in a while, there's a cop in the training room and I'll spar with them. But other than that, like it'd be just cool to be like, you know what, I'm in a bad mood, I want to fight today, and be like, doppelganger, let's go. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, that's Twilight Zone.
Yeah. I'd also let it suck me off.
That's weird. Yeah,
but is it gay or masturbation?
That's a weird question. What a conundrum. All right, so you can check out the Eerie International's episodes on Twilight Zone for more Twilight Zone stuff. Looking forward to seeing the new show. I also finally got around to watching the documentary Horror Noir, which was released on Shudder. The reason that I haven't watched it until now, because that's like kind of my thing. I love documentaries, and especially documentaries about movies. That's why I'm such an avid collector, is I love the making ofs and all that kind of stuff. So this is definitely really up my alley, but I don't know about you guys. I think you said Shudder has an Xbox app?
Yep.
Okay, they don't have one for PlayStation.
No, and the weird thing is, like, they've been saying, like, ever since we first found out about Shudder, like when we started doing this podcast, I keep looking, and people, like, there's forums and everything, they've been saying it's coming, but there's never any update on it.
And
it's on the Xbox.
Okay, yeah, so, like, I don't have any way of actually getting it hooked up to my TV. I know, like, I'm so fucking bad with technology. I know a lot of people have, like, Roku or whatever. I don't have any of that stuff, so I watch it on my laptop, and I used to be able to plug my laptop
like
in
the HDMI cable?
but for some reason the sound isn't coming out anymore. And I've looked it up. I know it's supposed to be an easy fix for some people, but it's not for me. Like, it's
cable.
Like, no, it's like a setting in my computer that I just can't find.
And that sucks.
Yeah, it's really shitty. So I don't get to watch as much Shudder as I would like to. But if anyone, for some reason, has had that same kind of problem, send me a message, because I'd love to figure it out. But yeah, so I just pulled out Shudder. I watched it on my laptop. So this is a documentary about the history of black people in cinema, and specifically the horror genre. I think this is an incredible documentary. I think it's a must-see for any horror fan. Like, it's really well done. I think they covered every base that they needed to and more. They did a really good job of representing, like, all the different, times in which black people were incorporated in horror movies. Like, I think that what's cool and really inspiring and exciting to see is that horror has always been a little bit more ahead of the curve than other genres when it comes to cultural appropriation and, representations of different cultures in cinema. But, like, we had George A. Romero, who cast Dwayne Jones in Night of the Living Dead. Like, that was such a huge deal back then, and he says that it wasn't because he was black, but it's because he was the best person to audition. I think he's the best actor. But that movie is held up incredibly well, and especially with the ending now, it's one of those movies that you could dissect and look at through any generation. It's amazing. But yeah, there are obviously a lot of things highlighted where horror wasn't doing the right thing, but the intention seemed there, because, like, there's that whole trope about, like, the black guy dies first in the horror movies and everything. They touch on that, but there's so many different. Sorry, which
is crazy. It's crazy how that used to be a thing that was pretty true, but, like, I can't remember the last horror movie really now.
It's gone a lot better.
Yeah, where like it's followed that formula.
Yeah,
because that used to be like the thing, like the black guy would always die first, or the dumb blonde,
or the fat guy.
Yeah, he can't run that fast.
Yeah,
but they I haven't. Other than maybe like Get Out, like the start, where but even then he doesn't die.
Even that, like, and
even that's probably like a commentary on it. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that this documentary would not exist if it wasn't for the success of Get Out and Jordan Peele. So, like, the documentary starts off with the cultural impact that Get Out had and what Jordan Peele's doing, and it's amazing, and it's so cool to see. But it's crazy that, like, things have gotten better in horror movies for representation of different cultures, but even just last week, Rachel. I talked about The Craft on the last episode, but Rachel True is one of the main characters of The Craft. She's one of the 4 witches. Hollywood Reporter announced last week that I think this is probably going to be a news, but there's going to be a Craft remake or a reboot. And then Hollywood Reporter did a whole article on it, and they named 4 actresses in the movie. There's the 4 main characters. They named the 3 white ones, and then a supporting actress, like one who pretty much doesn't. And they didn't even mention Rachel True. So it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like she tweeted at them. She's like, you got to do better. Like it's not because she's like, hey, I want attention. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like it
really is just do better.
Yeah, it's pretty sickening. But the documentary is amazing. I think that alone, if for some reason you don't have Shudder, give it a try, even just to watch this. And there's awesome shit on there. But give it a download and check the movie out on Shudder. So I'm kind of stuttering because I haven't talked in a while.
He's not even drinking.
No, well, it's like 5 o'clock.
When does that stop?
Yeah, that's true. All right, moving on from that, I rewatched The Cell. Have you guys seen The Cell?
Oh, holy shit! With like Vince Vaughn,
and Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah. Oh my.
Have you seen The Cell?
Nope.
Oh, but I think this is a movie that Boozy would love. Actually,
This movie before
it's fucked.
I don't remember. I watched it when I was in elementary school. I don't remember a whole lot. The one thing I do remember is the horse. The horse scene, like that was so fucking weird.
You don't remember Vince Vaughn was contestant?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like it's okay. So the story of this movie is there's a social worker who's working with a group of people using new experimental technology, which allows her to enter the mind/dreams of a comatose serial killer. So the serial killer is in a coma, and his last victim is, for all they know, still alive. So they send Jennifer Lopez into his dreams, and in his dream world, it's fucking awesome.
It's super surreal.
Yeah,
especially like it came out at a time where like the aesthetic and like
it's really
the way
cool
it
to
looked.
look at,
It was just so fucking strange.
It sounds like such a cheesy idea, but it's
J-Lo, get in his brain right now.
And that's the other thing is like I know because obviously J-Lo was a singer before she was an actress, but she's like such a good actress too though. Like she's got chops. I don't know. I think she's a good actress. When have you ever seen her be like noticeably bad?
Wasn't she in one of the worst movies ever?
Geely.
Yeah. Wasn't she in one of the worst rated movies ever?
Yeah, that's Geely and Jersey Girl. But no, that's
Made in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's neither here
so
nor
what
there.
good has she done?
Anaconda, Selena, the girl next door or the boy next door. Anyways, I love you, J-Lo. She's somehow hotter now. So
That's the thing. She looks so good, and she's like almost 60.
She has more rings than Thanos.
Yeah.
But either way, the thing about this movie that I didn't realize until this rewatch is that it borrows a lot from Thomas Harris's Hannibal Lecter stories. It has some major Silence of the Lambs vibes, and some of the characters and the plot similarities to Manhunter and Red Dragon are kind of uncanny. Like, so if you like Silence of the Lambs and Manhunter, it's like that, but kind of trashy.
So is it? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Has it aged well then?
I think it has. See, Courtney watched it for the first time. She didn't really care for it, which I was shocked by because I was like, she's going into the mind of a serial killer, Courtney. Like, but that's the thing is like, there's the serial killer is played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who's an incredible actor, but this is him about 100 pounds less.
Yeah, yeah. I could picture him. He almost looks like
he looks nothing like it anymore.
He's like super pale.
Yeah, and he's got long hair now. You know Vincent D'Onofrio with no hair or like taming raptors because he's the raptor tamer in Jurassic World. But yeah, I don't know. It's this movie's fucking. It's very strange, but it's a very underrated psychological horror movie, I think, and it's very visually interesting. I definitely like it's. I didn't love it as much upon rewatch, but it's one of those hidden gems that I think people should check out, and it's there's a chance that you'll love it. So check out The Cell.
Man, I didn't think I'd be hearing about that movie today.
Yeah, I own it. I have the Blu-ray.
Jesus.
Yeah. But okay, going on from that, this is also probably another thing that's going to be in news. But Larry Cohen passed away recently. Yeah. So I decided. So Larry Cohen, the director of The Stuff, It's Alive trilogy. He wrote all the Maniac Cop movies, and he also wrote Phone Booth.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. And Q the Winged Serpent.
Q the Winged Serpent, which I watched. That's what I'm about to talk about. So to commemorate, he died the day that I had just gotten out of surgery. So I was like completely out of it, and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's a bummer because this guy has always made like really cool movies. Like I don't know, you guys haven't seen the It's Alive movies, but I talked about the one, and it's strange. Like it's a killer baby. But
I have seen the stuff though.
The stuff, and you've seen the stuff. Yeah, we all watched the stuff, and the stuff I still think is his best movie. I love the stuff, but the thing about his movies, and I think you guys can even attest to that, is in the stuff there are these hokey ideas, but they're played with such a straight face and such an earnestness that make them actually good.
Yeah,
and it's like he has these crazy ideas, like cue the winged serpent. So. All right, like this movie stars David Carradine. This was before he killed himself masturbating.
Was this before he was in Kung Fu?
I don't know. I think Kung Fu was before this. Okay. I could be wrong though. I don't know. David Carradine to me is Bill in Kill Bill.
Well, and he's also hanging in the closet.
Jesus, rest in peace. Michael Moriarty is in this, as well as Richard Roundtree, who's the OG Shaft. Like he's the original Shaft. Bruce Willis wanted the role of David Carradine in this movie. Like
Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis was trying to get this movie, but he wasn't a bankable name at the time, because I think this came out in 1980.
It probably did him more good then that he didn't.
Oh yeah, this came out in 1982. Man, this movie was a box office hit. Like that's why.
Cue the Winged Serpent?
Yeah, I looked it up, and it made so much fucking money.
Before you start talking about the one thing, I love the poster for Cue the Winged Serpent. I don't
so
know what
great.
it is. It just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's great. But so David Carradine and Richard Roundtree played detectives who are investigating a string of ritualistic Aztec murders, while a winged serpent / Domino's just sent me a notification.
Did you order something?
No, I have the app.
And they're like, hey, we noticed you haven't ordered anything in a while. You okay? Fuck. It's been a day.
Yeah. Are you alive? Aztec murders, and a winged serpent bird dragon is wreaking havoc in the sky of New York City, and it's eating construction workers' heads and killing helpless civilians.
It's Quetzalcoatl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know how to pronounce that. All right, but it also has ex-convict Jimmy Quinn, who's played by Michael Moriarty, who stumbles upon the beast's nest and won't help the authorities find it until he has paid his dues, which is $1 million, photos and book rates, etc. Like he wants all the stuff. He's basically doing the George Lucas of Star Wars, where he's like, you guys can have all the box office money, but I want
everything
merchandising else. Yeah. And so it's just a fucking strange movie, but like I said, what makes it so good is how earnest it is and how serious everything's taken in this movie. And he had to have known that these movies weren't for everyone, but he's given it his all. Like that's the thing that I love about it so much. There's really cool cheesy special effects. It's one of those movies that makes me question Letterboxd ratings, because I'm like, I really enjoy this movie. Like, I highly recommend giving it a watch if you haven't yet, or giving a rewatch if it's been a while, because it's insane. But I can't in good conscience give this movie over a 3 out of 5. But it's just like, but I kind of love this movie.
It's just one of those movies.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun, and it was a good way to commemorate Larry Cohen.
I think the cool thing about that movie too is how it uses something like Quetzalcoatl. I think it's either Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl. I think something in it might be silent. But yeah, because you never see any like Mayan or Aztec like anything in movies other than like
National Treasure.
National Treasure, and what was that movie?
The Mummy.
No. The one with like the gun. Oh fuck! What was it? And there was like a jungle. Oh man, what was it? Ends with an O. The title ends with an O. It was like a big budget movie in like, fuck, what? Fuck.
Jungle movie.
No, Jungle Book. It took place in like mostly the Aztec. It was a huge fucking movie.
Is that the one with the evil monkeys?
No.
Avatar?
No. Fuck. Oh my god, this is gonna ruin me. For some reason, I don't remember the actor. For some reason, I keep
what
wanting.
Year?
Did Mel Gibson direct it?
Apocalypto?
That's it. Yeah.
Apocalypto.
Did Mel Gibson direct it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like that took Mayan and Aztec stuff, but other than that, you don't see much of it in like
weird.
the mainstream
Mel Gibson's
media.
going to come out twice in this podcast, so I'm going to talk about it right away. But yeah, I agree with you, and I love Aztec shit. Like that's why I love those national Uncharted games and Tomb Raider and all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. Going on from that, I have two last things. One of them I'm not really going to talk about because it's not entirely horror, but I watched Midnight Meat Train for the first time last night.
Finally.
I still need to see that. It's on my list.
So directed by Ryu Kitamura, who also directed No One Lives, and I think it was last year he did Downrange, which I gave a glowing review. No, I fucking hated that movie. But I think, didn't you watch Downrange 2? Is the one with the sniper and the people on the highway?
Oh, yeah, I didn't mind that movie at all.
Yeah, so, but like, that's the thing, is Ryu Kitamura, I'm going to get to that. But anyways, this isn't it's an adaptation of a Clive Barker short story, and I love Clive Barker, and this was one of my blind spots in the Clive Barker verse. But what's interesting to find out is that the screenplay was written by Jeff Bueller, who also wrote screenplays for The Prodigy, which came out this year. I still haven't seen. It's that kid one.
I heard that wasn't very good.
I heard it was actually surprisingly good. So
really?
I think it's going to be one of those ones, kind of like Escape Room, where it's like one way or the other. But he also wrote the upcoming Grudge reboot, which is being directed by the guy who did Eyes of My Mother. So I have...
Holy shit.
Yeah, I like that thing. Like, do I want a Grudge movie? I couldn't care less. But the fact that guy's behind it, I'm like, there's a good chance this is going to be a sweet movie.
Eyes of My Brother.
Yeah, and he also
wrote...
he also wrote the screenplay for the upcoming Jacob's Ladder reboot, which nobody has asked for.
No.
And he
Wait,
also...
they're rebooting Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that'll be so fucking insane.
I know. I just don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be strange.
That could be cool, honestly. I'm down for
hopefully, yeah. And most importantly and topically... He also wrote the screenplay for Pet Sematary, which we're going to see this week. Yeah, which is getting glowing reviews. Yeah. People seem to love it. So that's kind of cool that I just watched this movie. I was like, oh, he wrote this movie. So this stars a pre-Hangover Bradley Cooper. Mm-hmm. Like, this was before he was Bradley Cooper. Vinnie Jones from movies like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatched. And,
anything where you need a big British guy.
Yeah, Leslie Bibb, who's in like Hell Baby. I can't believe Hell Baby's where I remember her from. Hell Baby, it's like a really stupid comedy horror movie. But she's married to Sam Rockwell. I know that.
Oh.
And Brooke Shields is in this movie as well.
And you know who else is in this movie? At the end, Rampage Jackson.
Yeah.
What?
Am I supposed to know who that is?
You don't know who Rampage Jackson is?
He was
Quentin
Rampage,
Rampage,
like a huge UFC fighter, like back.
He's
in the
guy
day?
who punched the hole through the door and then rips the door off.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and also, well, I'm going to get to that because I'm trying to go through my notes here and do this fluently. But the story of Midnight Meat Train is, and the reason I watch it is because Clive Barker, Bradley Cooper, Vinnie Jones, like, this should be a cool horror movie.
Leslie
and it's
Jones.
something that I just should have seen by now. Yeah, and also my favorite pizza at 13 Pies is called the Midnight Meat Train. So I was like, I better watch this.
Where is Quentin Jackson in this? Or did you just make that
No,
up?
I think you just saying
he's at the very end. He plays one of like the weird demon things.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Oh, because like that seemed like something where you just slid that in there and we all went with it. But after I was like, I'm gonna call him on this.
No, he's legitimately in it, but like he doesn't speak. He's just meant to be like a big intimidating thing at the end.
What a strange movie. But, yeah, so Bradley Cooper plays a photographer who likes taking pictures of fucked up things for some reason, and then he becomes obsessed with a serial killer who is killing folks on a train in gruesome ways. This movie also stars Ted Raimi is in this movie. Oh my god, I'm stuttering like crazy. I'm Jesse Sawitsky. It's got Ted Raimi, who's famously Sam Raimi's brother, and it features a slow motion, eye flying out of his face, blood spraying everywhere, CGI hyper stylized death. So I just spoiled a death. But Ted Raimi's in this movie for 30 seconds, and in that 30 seconds, that happens. So sorry to spoil that for you, but I think that's kind of something that I want to talk about here, is that the violence in this movie. So all of the deaths are similar. They feature like Kitamura has he has a style. He definitely has a style to him, and you can see crossover into some of his other films. He's got a very Japanese aesthetic in his violence.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. But that's what's interesting about his movies, is he does these American movies, like even Downrange has some pretty crazy violence, and it's really glossy, and like, you know, it could be mistaken as like Resident Evil violence because it's very CGI, but it's brutal nonetheless. So like that I applaud it for. But I'm also pretty sure that there's a scene in this movie where Bradley Cooper eats Leslie Bibb's ass for like 3 seconds.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, he's going to bang her from behind, and then he goes down. He puts his face in her butt, and it's just there for like 3 seconds. I'm like, Courtney's like, was he just eating her ass?
Before that was cool.
Yeah, it was
the OG ass eater.
But no, the thing, it made me think. I'm just like, because he could have been, going for.
He could have fell.
No, he didn't fall. He
was adding some lubrication.
He was definitely eating her ass. like for sure, and it's just real weird.
We
like,
had the highest of class.
but even if he was going in for her vaginal,
why was that hard to say? Like what? You looked like you didn't want to. You had to like spit it out. Like
yeah, I can talk about eating ass, but I can't say the proper words. Okay, so even if he could have been like eating her vagina or something like that. Bradley Cooper's nose would have been like 3 inches deep in that butthole if he was going in from behind. So I'm like, he had to have been eating her ass. We were talking about it for a while. It's like vagina. Yeah, sorry, it's a dirty word. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, okay, so this is a well shot, well acted, sometimes brutally violent movie that just didn't do it for me. I didn't really particularly like this movie. I could definitely see the Clive Barker DNA in the movie, and I can understand how some people would. I can understand this being people's shit. Like, people could really enjoy it.
I was just thinking about this movie yesterday. It's weird that you bring it up. The scene where, like, Vinnie Jones is, like, picking the weird shit off of him.
Yeah, did they explain that?
No.
Here's the thing, is that Clive Barker, it definitely has Clive Barker's. You can feel him in the story. Like, you can feel his, like, weird, grim, gothic tones that he gets out in his stories, and they're brutally violent. But I feel like the storytelling that Kitamura did was very messy, and I pretty much didn't get answers for any of the questions that I had. And it's like, it goes into such a... It's not just your typical serial killer story. It goes into such a fucking weird direction. And I just... By the end of it, man, the last shot of this movie... I was laughing so fucking hard. Like, so hard. And I think that if you watched it again, I guarantee you would, because I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but, like, it is one of the dumbest fucking final shots.
I should go back and watch this, because I remember I rented this from Blockbuster with my girlfriend at the time in high school, and we watched Midnight Meat Train and the Hitcher remake back to back.
And I used to love the Hitcher remake, but I watched it again recently. It's not that.
I still like it.
It's all right, but like the original is just so good.
The only scene I really remember from the Hitcher remake, where there's one where he gets torn in half, but then the scene where Nine Inch Nails is playing and he's fucking shooting the fucking cops out of the helicopter and stuff.
So anyways, that's a movie that you could watch. I think on Letterboxd, it seems like a lot of people really love it, and a lot of people really don't care for it. So you can go one way or the other. But I can't give it my stamp of approval. Last but definitely not least, and sort of pretty much not horror. It actually isn't horror at all. But like we talk about Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, and stuff like that, I always talk about the work of S. Craig Zoller. So the director, writer of Bone Tomahawk, Brawl on Cell Block 99. He wrote Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich, which is so weird. But I watched his new movie, Dragged Across Concrete, which was starring Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson and Jennifer Carpenter. I'm not going to spoil anything because I want people to watch this movie. It's definitely my least favorite of his 3 movies, but I still loved it.
Is it pretty brutal?
It's brutal, but it's not as bad as the other ones, which is weird since it's called Dragged Across Concrete. The thing is, Zoller takes a lot of flack for being like kind of a right-wing conservative and everything like that, and I just don't really look at that in his movies. Like, I don't, and I've never felt like people have some major problems with Bone Tomahawk, and I just didn't even think of it. Which might make me one of the problems. But, I don't know. I love that movie, and it's just a good, entertaining movie. And Dragged Across Concrete is a really contained cop story. And it's, I think the last 45 minutes is just pure cinema. It's just so fucking good. And I don't know. I loved it. And I will also say that I hate Jennifer Carpenter, who is...
I think you've said that before.
She's Emily Rose in The Exorcism of Emily Rose. She's also Deb in Dexter. This is the best I have ever seen her. She is so good in this movie. I loved her scenes in this movie. So we'll give it a watch. Let me know what you guys think. I guess with all that, we can get on to news. Okay. Thank you guys for being patient. I hope people enjoyed listening to my dumbass. I cut some stuff out of here. I didn't even touch on... at the top of this, I was going to say, I apologize in advance. I did not watch Blue Crush 2 yet.
What the fuck? You just pump my tires for nothing?
No, it's because I'm waiting for the right time to watch Blue Crush 2.
There's always the right time.
If you don't follow me on Instagram, Boozy came over on... It was been like 2 days. I still have my blood bag in. Yeah. And he got me a gift.
It was a Sunday.
Yeah, he got me a gift, which was a pirated copy of Blue Crush 2.
Which I got for free.
Okay, but where'd you get it? Wasn't it a garage sale?
No, my girlfriend's friend was selling a bunch of movies, and she saw it, so she sent me like pictures of all the movies. She's like,
Were they all pirated?
No. So they were. It was like, out of all these movies, she's like, which ones do you want? And there was Blue Crush 1, and there was Pet Sematary, like the original. And I was like, I want both of those. And then whoever the seller was, like, I don't actually know who this person is. They were like, oh, I threw in 2 free movies for you, and it was Blue Crush 2 and Pet Sematary 2. So
oh
the
my
sequels.
God. Fuck. That's awesome.
And then I went and looked at them because I was like, oh, the it's like the old school DVD cases, and the print and everything looks super faded. And then I looked at the back because you can usually tell a fake. The printing gets fucked on the credits at the very bottom.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, these are all blurred to shit. And then I open it up, and yeah, it's just a blank disc with whatever the movie
with blue Sharpie.
So I want to proclaim that I did not pay for these, nor did I ask for them. I paid for actual films, and the other ones that came with it were given to me for free, and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible.
I think it's so funny that there's like even a pirated copy of Blue Crush 2 out there. Like, what are the fucking odds? And how it ends up in Boozy's hands. Like, also, I'm excited for you to watch Pet Sematary 2, because that movie is...
I heard it was decent.
It's fucking insane, and it's not as good... Like, it sucks, but I love it. Like, it's so stupid. I love that movie. But yeah, let's get on to news, and I will watch Blue Crush 2 as soon as possible.
Hey,
even though me and Jeff are waiting for a Blue Crush 2 party.
Bruce, can you do me a favor?
Yeah, what?
Can you hit me with that news?
Okay. Yabba dabba doo, it's time for the news. Come on, let's get excited.
Yay!
We got the first trailer we got the first poster art for 47 Meters Down Uncaged, and they're ripping off Jaws, which is always a good way to go for a shark movie.
I haven't seen it yet. You got it there?
Yeah. It's kind of like a darker version of the original Jaws poster.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Mark Hamill is doing the voice of Chucky.
Okay, let's discuss. What the fuck? So, there was that last night? Days are they're blurring
It was
together.
2 days ago.
Yeah. So fucking weird, but talk about a way to get my excitement level from a 0% to 100.
It's weird, but it's also one of those things where it's like...
That's going to give you
It makes
100?
sense. I love Star Wars.
It's one of those things that makes so much sense that you don't think about it beforehand.
Yeah.
And or things that like you're pleasantly surprised, be like, oh, that works. Like even when
It does
like,
work.
It's like when John Bernthal was announced as a Punisher, for example. I was like, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I was like, that actually really worked. But I never thought of it.
Never in a million years would I have guessed Mark Hamill as Chucky.
No, but now that I
Never.
think about it, like he's such a good voice actor.
Oh, yeah,
So
he
and
is.
even Tom Holland, like the original director of Tom,
Yeah.
like, he's like that's a good choice.
Yeah, no, and that's like, you know what? I've been hard on this whole Child's Play thing. Child's Play thing because of the whole like Don Mancini thing going on where they're not including any of the original people. It's basically just money, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm gonna be a little bit more open with it.
I am a bit more open as well because that was a big part of it. That was like who are you gonna get? Like the only other choice I would have picked would be Danny DeVito. So like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird casting, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Like, so see how it pans out.
What about Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Oh God.
That's what I thought that they were going to be doing because they announced that. Well, no, they said an A-list actor is going to voice Chucky. They've been saying that for 3 weeks now, teasing it.
Maybe it would have been funny if they did that as like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, like, but like, who? That's what I'm like. Originally, that pissed me off when I was like, they're getting an A-list actor because also I don't consider Mark Hamill an A-list actor. But I love Mark Hamill and like he's one of the most like everyone knows who Mark Hamill is because he's Luke Skywalker. Yeah. But I wouldn't say he's an A-list actor. But I don't know. I'm into it.
Like you've heard his Joker, right? Obviously,
of course.
It's
the
fantastic.
animated series is one of my favorite pieces. Probably my favorite Batman.
See, now my only worry would be like if he just does the Joker, because it's like much of that voice, it won't fit Chucky.
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
I don't know if they're having Mark Hamill voicing him and Aubrey Plaza's like the main actress. Like I have a feeling this is probably going to be a pretty comedy heavy movie, too.
Yeah, so. Maybe the trailer seemed pretty dark.
I don't think that there's a way to make Chucky scary.
No, so. but even like the first Child's Play, like it wasn't.
Well, I thought it's fucking terrifying. Like
yeah, that's the thing. Like people were scared of it.
That's lightning in a bottle, though. Yeah. And like you wouldn't be able to pull that off these days. Like the whole voodoo transporting your serial killer's body into a doll. You can't do that in 2019. I don't know.
Now, real quick, I wonder if that means too that Mark Hamill's also going to play like Charles Lee Ray.
Well, he's a robot. They're doing like
yeah, but he gets put into a doll still.
No, I just think it's about like a toy.
They might be foregoing that.
Fuck that.
Yeah, man, are you kidding? That they can't do that.
They got to do something.
Yeah, well, they're dolls that are coming to life.
Ah, man, that sucks. I'm pissed off now.
How'd you not know that? That's like
Well,
the
I don't
first
think
thing
they
announced.
haven't talked about it though.
Yeah, they have.
Have they?
That was the first thing they talked about.
Really?
How it's going to be like an artificial intelligence taking over.
I'm mad now.
Yeah,
So,
he's like Chucky's a Roomba now.
Okay, well
Yeah.
now my excitement has dropped again, back down to maybe 50%.
Yeah, I'm going to be open minded with. I did not give a fuck about this movie 3 days ago.
No.
So like now I'm like I feel excited.
Okay. Next up, we got our first trailer for. Speaking of spooky dolls, we got our first trailer for Annabelle Comes Home.
So
Annabelle Coming Home.
I'm waiting until Pet Cemetery on Thursday to watch it.
Can I spoil it for you? I'm not.
Yeah.
There's no way to spoil it. It's just
Me and Mitch both watched the trailer.
Yeah, I know. I was in the
okay.
chat.
But it's just a bunch of jump scares put together. It looks like an Annabelle trailer, but I don't. Like I said, I love Annabelle 2, Annabelle Creation. Like,
Well, and now I have to see the Curse of La Llorona because apparently it's part of the Conjuring verse.
yeah, it is. But I also I don't like, and this is coming from a guy who loves those Conjuring movies and that whole universe. But I just don't really care anymore.
No.
Like my hype is dying on them.
Apparently that
and-
movie's supposed to be okay though, like not horrible.
Yeah, hopefully I'll go see it. I go see every horror movie in theaters, but like I have an inside source who has seen Annabelle Coming Home, and she said she was shocked by how good it was, and said it was better than Creation, and that's a pretty fucking
pretty high
great
bar.
movie.
See, just from watching that trailer, it set my standards so low for it. I know you said that somebody said watched it and said it was really good. It looked awful.
But you don't like those movies either.
I tolerate them. They're like I like a good possession movie. It just
Yeah.
feels like so many of them do the exact same things over and over.
I'll agree with you there.
To the point where you could take selective scenes from like Conjuring, that sort of thing, The Nun, all those kind of that are in that same universe. You could just take different scenes from each of those, and you would swear it's just the same movie. And I don't mean that in a good way.
Yeah, well, it is a universe,
I guess
so
it's
they're all kind of similar in tone. But I think it's just
they're too similar. They're
Yeah.
always going to just do the same kind of things again.
Yeah.
That's the same with that other. I can't remember the name of that movie. Just speaking of it, because there was the trailer for it before.
Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah,
Is that what that is?
it's part of the Conjuring universe.
See, that looks stupid to me as well.
Is it because they're Mexican?
Well, we know Boozy's not a fan of races, so that aren't white.
Oh, we're doing that again, are we? That's great for us episode.
Curse of La Llorona.
I don't know. That movie looks stupid. too.
I agree. That movie. That's the movie where I saw it. I was like, fuck. I was like, no. And those are my people. And I was like, I can't do this.
Well, you're starting to figure out, even in the trailer, it shows you so many scenes where you'll see like a room or an area like underneath something, and there's nothing there, and then there will be a sound, and then you come back and boom, there's something there.
Or
now.
the new one that I've really noticed that started with the first Sinister was in there like walking in the background, and all of a sudden they walk like
Yeah,
in
right
the
at
foreground.
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all predictable, but these are made for the everyday consumer. Like, these aren't made for the people like us. Even though, like, I get enjoyment out of them, I know you do too. But like, and I love that Boozy will never be able to take away me and Diego knowing what your face looked like after The Conjuring 2.
No, I still think Conjuring 2 is fine.
Yeah, it's great, but like I know how you feel, and like you know that trailer did nothing for me. This new Annabelle trailer, like it's just like, oh yeah, it's just
and I'm
the
glad
same
you can admit
shit.
that though.
Yeah.
It looks awful.
Yeah, I don't know.
really
It just
does.
looks like the same shit to me. Like, it just looks like everything I've already seen.
Hey,
but
this time she's coming home.
yeah, that's true. I don't know, but I would have, even if it did look like shit, like it kind of, I'm not crazy about the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking forward to it because I was so surprised with Creation.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed
And
Creation.
that's how I was too, because I watched the trailer for Creation. I'm like this fuck this.
And like, that's the thing, like those jump scare movies, yeah, they do the same thing, and they're just like, some people could see it as being annoying, and I totally get that. But I like going to the theater with Courtney and like watching the crowd react with it. Like, there's very little substance to them. It's just more so like a little roller coaster.
But
Now-
that's my problem with it is they have something where I can see there being a great movie in there, a great story, and it just feels like, yeah, there's nothing of actual substance you can really sink your teeth into. There's so much atmosphere they could make with any of these,
Yeah.
but they just throw that out the window for let's throw some spooky shit behind a blind or in a
and like
something.
under the bed or like in the bed sheets.
Under the sea.
But the thing, the thing that I am excited about in regards to this Annabelle movie, though, is that it shows a return of Ed and Lorraine Warren, which I know that they're human.
Our
piles
two
of
favorite
shit.
dipshits.
Yeah, like they are dipshits. But I like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in those roles. So
What'd you call me?
bless you. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but the trailer didn't do much for me.
Okay. Speaking of before, when you're talking about what we do in shadows, Doug Jones played an ancient vampire in one of the scenes.
And he's fucking hilarious in it.
It looks spooky, like in the stills.
I want you guys to watch it. It's good.
I'll watch it when I get a chance.
It's good. Yeah.
Coming out. This is actually really interesting. So I kind of wanted to delve into this. You guys obviously know what the Ghoulies are. Right?
Yeah.
Are.
That's weird. I was thinking
they're in
about
the toilet
Ghoulies today.
There's a Ghoulies companion book that's being written by a mega fan. Now I don't know if you remember, we talked about which was it? H2O. Halloween H2O was written mostly by a Halloween mega fan.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that I feel like there's more care given to stuff when mega fans partake in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, you have a companion book, which has to be the biggest honor for somebody if you're a mega fan of anything.
Man,
But
he just keeps saying mega, and every time it just cuts into my ears or something.
Smegma?
So the guy's name is Graham Levain Leneve Painter.
That's a good way to be noticed, though, is to become a mega fan of something that nobody gives a fuck about.
Yeah, I guess
Ghoulies?
he ran a bunch of like fan pages for years.
For
and
Ghoulies.
And they approached it, which is, you know what? Everyone go out, find something really niche, like a niche film industry or movie or saga, and just delve really deep into it. And sometimes studios notice you.
Blue Crush 2.
The
Garbage
Pail Kids.
The rise of Anthony Buziak. I can't believe I just said your first name.
I know it's like a bad
full last name.
It's
Yeah,
a weird.
Buziak, yeah.
We got our first full trailer for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the trailer? Or
I
no?
did. Did you?
Super cool.
I think it's cool, too. I know it didn't do much for you.
Well, I'm excited for that. Like, you don't read the book reads you. And just shit like that I just hate.
Yeah, it's corny.
And I got a PG-13
I think those
rating
are the
today.
kind of taglines to bring people in, though. I think once they get all that shit out of the way, I'm assuming that's all going to be at the start. They'll settle into a
It's
comfort.
PG now?
It's PG-13.
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't make or break a supernatural story.
No, means you won't see blood.
Something like this now. I just thought I would.
But so it's suiting. But also I'm pretty sure Annabelle Creation was like PG-13 or 14A at most.
It was X.
No, it wasn't. But no, I'm the one here who hasn't read any Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark. I plan on doing that before the movie. I want to read them all.
Yeah, they're super cool.
I'm going to, but I'm looking forward to it. I think the like monsters in it look cool, and
Where is my big toe?
I'm digging the vibe.
That's one of them.
I was gonna say that's pretty much all I have for news. You actually covered quite a bit of it when you were doing the what
I'm
have we
sorry.
seen. I was ticking them off as
I got
you
one
went.
real quick. I don't
Sure.
have the article or anything. I didn't really read much into it.
But you got the headline.
Right in the headline.
Classic Boozy's Newsies fashion.
The guy who got hired in the new Candyman movie, he's not actually playing Candyman.
Yeah, Abdul Mateen. He just has said that they haven't said that he's not Candyman, but they haven't said that he is Candyman.
But they said that he's not replacing Tony Todd.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, I can't help but feel like I know it's Candyman, but I can't help but feel like the Candyman character isn't gonna be like the Tony Todd. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Or what if they bring Tony Todd back as Candyman and it's the ultimate surprise and they won't reveal it until South by Southwest when they premiered or something.
Yeah, like not only that, but like Tony Todd is like he's given his blessing for everything on this movie, but he's also tweeted countless times. Like he tweeted a couple times about how no one has contacted him, which could be a bait and switch, but also because I have a tough time imagining Jordan Peele producing a Candyman movie
and just ignoring,
not even talking to Tony Todd. That's the thing is, I'm not expecting Tony Todd to come back as Candyman, but I'm expecting Tony Todd to maybe
be involved in some way,
have a little cameo or something like that.
Well, I think in today's environment, it should be Candyperson.
That's a very, very good point.
Topical.
Yeah, very good point.
Jesus. That was good.
Okay, that's all I got.
I have a couple things. So yeah, like I said, the Craft remake is coming out. Director Zoe Lister-Jones, who is, I believe, and I use this word lightly, but an indie darling. She made a movie called Band-Aid, which received a lot of praise at film festivals. Looking forward to see what she does with that. And rest in peace of Joseph Pilato, he played Rhodes in Day of the Dead, and he had a small role.
Yeah.
He had a small role in Wishmaster. I feel like he was I think everyone can agree that he was an underutilized villain actor.
He was the best piece of shit.
He was super hateable.
I loved how much I hated him in that movie.
And that's the thing is like when we rewatched all those movies, like we were only doing Dawn of the Dead when Craig came on, but when I rewatched all of them, I'm like, I don't know which one's my favorite. Like Day of the Dead is so kooky, but I fucking love.
He's got my favorite death.
Yeah,
like choke on it. Like,
and yeah, so like much. That whole like the first 3 are just so goddamn good. But like I'm like some days I'd probably say Day of the Dead's my favorite of the 3, but that's insane. So I don't know. They're great movies, and rest in peace. That's a bummer. I wish I could have seen. I wish he would have, been able to, given the opportunity, be left a bigger mark in the genre, because that not to downplay his role in Day of the Dead. But it shows how hateable he is in that. Yeah. Like, he was so good at being such a dickhead. And I think that's all I have for news. So, okay. Carry on, my wayward son. Are you guys ready to get on to our main feature presentation?
Yes.
We will be right back after this trailer. See you soon.
We got 5 on it.
Right there.
What does I got 5 on it mean?
It's about drugs.
It's not about drugs. It's a dope song. Don't do drugs.
Get in rhythm. There you go. There you go. Can't believe how big they've got.
Did you hear Gabe got a boat?
He's kidding, right?
He's not kidding.
Hey, I think it's vodka o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Jason?
Jason?
Jason! Where were you?
I didn't know if you were lost. Stick with me, and I'll keep you safe.
There's a family in our driveway.
It's probably the neighbors. But y'all scared of a family? Hi, can I help you?
Zora, put your shoes on.
If you want to get crazy, we can get crazy.
You people.
It's us.
They look exactly like us. They think like us. They know where we are. We need to move and keep moving. They won't stop until they kill us. Or we kill them.
Welcome to our main feature presentation, in which we are going to be discussing Jordan Peele's Us. This is a movie that the entire world has been talking about. You may feel like everything that has been said has already been said, but I personally have done my best to prepare a very in-depth analysis and review of the film for you guys. So please stick around and hear my dumbass thoughts. We're going to be talking about this movie at length, but we're going to do our normal Terror Table thing where we're going to give a general spoiler-free review, even though that's kind of pointless in this situation. I feel like everyone has seen it, but it's still, in the off chance that you haven't, you can hear general thoughts from the 3 of us, and then we're going to delve deep into this movie. And like I said before, like, people have been covering this movie. I know our friends at Erie International just put out an episode on it, so if you haven't listened to that, give that a listen as well. But we're going to try and offer our Terror Table spin on this movie. So this movie is, once again, written and directed by Jordan Peele, and it's starring Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss, Tim Heidecker, Shahadi Wright-Joseph, Evan Alex, and Yahul Abdul-Mateen, who plays the dad at the beginning of the movie, and he was recently cast in the upcoming Candyman reboot, which we just talked about. Yeah. So, and the synopsis of this movie is: a family's serenity turns to chaos when a group of doppelgangers begins to terrorize them. So this is a movie that I know that I think, going back to Jordan Peele putting Get Out a couple of years ago, that was a big movie for the entire horror genre, and its fan base, and I know that Diego and I really loved it. I think Boozy liked it, but you weren't like in love with it like the way that the world was. So like, or like that a lot of people were, I should say.
I don't even think it didn't just do good for the horror movies. It like shook movies in general.
Since then, Jordan Peele has won an Oscar for it. Like it has changed the horror genre, and we see this happen every once in a while. But it's
a renaissance.
Peele has caused an earthquake in the genre, and it's reverberating. Everyone can feel it. I'm getting so excited, getting ready to talk about this movie. But yeah, let's start off with our spoiler-free thoughts. Which I think is going to be really short because honestly, I don't have much to say that isn't a spoiler. So who wants to go first? Well, do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first.
I'll go first. I really liked this movie. I thought that it was really tense. I thought that Jordan Peele did... Throughout the movie, I kept on wondering if I actually liked it or not because I kept on being pulled out by certain things. Then I'd be immediately sucked back in, and then I'd be pulled out. But overall, at the end of the day, I've thought about this movie constantly since in the last 2 weeks. I saw it on opening night because I was going in for surgery the next day. And apparently the very first words that I said when I got out of surgery to Courtney was, I got 5 on it. So I really enjoyed it. But the thing that I liked most about it is it felt refreshing. I haven't seen a movie like this. I went in knowing that Jordan Peele it was a Jordan Peele movie, so I know the guy has impossible shoes to fill. So I kind of was trying to temper my expectations and be like, you're not going to make a Get Out every day. Like that movie it's something special. I don't know. I love that movie, and I don't know. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I really enjoyed this movie. I thought that it was tense. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was effective for the most part. I don't think it's a masterpiece the way that people think it is, but I also don't want to discount anyone who says it's a masterpiece because I could totally understand how you'd see it that way. I also understand people not connecting with this movie, and I understand it not being a movie that everyone's going to love. But at the end of the day, it's a movie that I look forward to going back to. I plan on seeing it again in the theater. Once I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm going to get deep in the spoiler conversation. So, Diego, what did you think?
I loved it. Boozy? Okay. Like you, I thought it was really refreshing. Every time I thought that something was going to happen, it either did but differently than I thought it was going to, or went somewhere else. And as I've said many times on the podcast before, I'm not somebody who gives a shit about symbolism or even really looks for it. But this movie did a good job of having it where you could see it, you could see certain things and symbolisms and everything, and pick up on things. But you didn't have to pretend that you were super smart in order to get it.
I left that out of my review too. Is that it's one of those movies that like I feel like this isn't like Get Out, where like yes, there's some symbolism that's a little bit on the nose in Get Out, but I felt like this was pretty up front and center with the symbolism, and like you could watch it. You could watch it as a movie, just as entertainment, or you could dig so deep into this movie. There is an endless hole. Well,
because there were certain things like in movies, like I don't know. I've watched movies where like I'll see things, but not even really. It just goes over my head because I'm not paying attention to it. But there was things in this movie where I would see it and I'd be like, okay, that's got to mean something. Or like, I'd be like, what's that mean? So then I looked it up afterwards. And it's like, oh, okay, oof. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie. Jordan Peele is just like this movie broke records again. Yeah, like he's knocking out of the park. I don't think he could. He's proved. I think he proved that Get Out wasn't a fluke. Like it wasn't a one-time thing. And I'm just excited to see what he does from here because now he's doing like the whole Twilight Zone reboot and the Candyman reboot, and like it'd be cool to see how he tackles the reboot of like the Candyman, something that's not
he's not directing it,
but isn't he producing it?
He's producing it. It's I think it'll have his flair over top. He'll probably make sure that it's not like he's probably got an interesting way of presenting
like he's gonna be overseeing it. So that's why I just want to know, like I want to see how he, like granted he gets a bit of an easier job because he isn't directing it, but I'd like to see how he influences a reboot rather than like an original product. But yeah, I'm completely sold on Jordan Peele. Like I was after Get Out, but this proved that it wasn't a one-trick pony. So
best part about it is that you can just tell that he's just like, he's a real fan.
Yeah.
He's a real horror fan. Like,
Oh, yeah, there's
he's
so many...
You know, remember, it was when we first started this podcast that me and you were talking about, like, because we're both big fans of Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Key and Peele too? Yeah. Like, but me and Diego, that was like one of the things, like, when we first started being friends, we would talk about Key and Peele, and I remember you come over and we have Key and Peele on, and it's just like, how insane is that Jordan Peele's going to make a horror movie? Now it's like, no, Jordan Peele is like,
he's a horror
fucking
movie
horror
director.
director. Yeah.
Well, and I like it too because like he gave like the whole cast like 10 movies that they had to fucking watch before they could like.
He loves, loves this stuff.
Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah,
well,
I really enjoyed it.
Sweet. Boozy, what did you think of this movie?
I actually like this movie a fair amount. I'm not gonna rave and say it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I actually personally think I enjoyed this movie a lot more than Get Out.
Okay.
I think it was a lot more fun. Maybe that's why. In terms of, I don't know, it feels weird that people constantly go like, oh, he's a horror director, like becoming his own master, which the master class, I guess, kind of director thing. I still don't feel it, and it's because I don't feel like any, I guess, out of his films he's made so far are overly horror eccentric. I found this movie was more just a thriller than anything else. I didn't find a ton of horror in any aspect of it. Maybe
I strongly disagree with you, but
okay. I don't know. It was fun. I thought the comedy was really good. The soundtrack is incredible. All the music.
I got 5 on it.
I think the string orchestration of I Got 5 on it it just fits perfectly as a
fucking chilling.
Yeah, it's actually, I've been considering buying the soundtrack just because I did like it that much. Yeah, I don't know. There are certain things about it where maybe it's just because of the story that it's trying to tell. Not so much the subject matter, but just the ideas of what it is don't interest me as much because that's not always up my alley. I'm not really a person who enjoys like alternate dimensions, that sort of thing. Do you know where I'm getting at? Like it's not a monster movie. It's not like a slasher movie, which are more my things. I'll admit that.
I was very curious what you were going to think because it's like wrapped up as a home invasion movie, but it's totally not.
It's totally not. Yeah. No, and that's the thing is that I think a lot of people discredit me for wanting to watch it because it isn't my thing, and I have said that it's not my thing. It's not that I didn't like enjoy it as much. It's just it's not the kind of movie I'd usually go out of my way to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fine. I think it would probably make my top 10 somewhere. Hey. So I don't think it was that much of a horror movie, honestly.
Okay, we'll talk more. That everyone like this is one of those things where it's just like everyone's got an opinion, man. But yeah. I can't see that. I can't see how you feel that way, but I can't discount how you feel. So
I think it just comes down to it's subjective.
Yeah, and I mean that in a respect.
But it's like one of those things where there was no point where I felt any sort of dread or any fear or anything that really jumped out, and I went like, "Oh, geez," I felt a lot of things coming in this movie, and that comes back to a point that I know a lot of people are going to be annoyed by, but this is basically just a long version of a small segment from a Simpsons episode.
People have talked about that.
It's the Hugo episode.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which
I can't even remember.
When you watch it, you kind of go like, "Oh shit, these are a lot of things that just happened in that small Simpsons episode." Mm-hmm. Not that I'm sure that's not what he was going for, but it was funny how those two things kind of paralleled each other.
Totally. Cool. Well, yeah. So that's 3 thumbs up. Yeah. From the Terror Table. So if you, for some reason, haven't seen it yet, go out and check it out. We're going to get heavy into spoilers right now, so this is your time to check out. If you don't want anything spoiled, because I can say confidently that this will be the most that we spoil a movie ever.
Yeah, because you can't talk about otherwise.
Yeah, I've been off work for a week and just thinking. Like I've been stuck. Like even I've been too tired to watch stuff. Too tired to do anything. I've been out of it with like drugs and stuff like that. Like painkillers. I have that post-surgery thing going on right now, so I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I'm not going to pretend like everything that I'm about to say I knew when I saw the movie, but a fair bit of it I did, and I really want to dig deep into this movie with you guys. So with all that being said, here's your time to check out. This is your warning. Let's get on to spoilers.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go through the whole thing here. So like I said before, Jordan Peele, I feel like caused an earthquake across the entire world, not just the horror community when he released Get Out. That's nothing new that anyone hasn't heard before. But when something like this tends to happen, people have such unrealistic expectations of what's going to come next. The the movie is receiving mostly praise, but is also dividing a lot of people as well. And I think if someone else made this movie, more people would be praising it, myself included. And I think that, like, what I get at with that is that I think that this is something very special. While it's not perfect, it's like, I feel like this is a very original movie. I know that everyone's going to always be able to tie something to something else. Like, everyone's like, oh, Get Out was just the Stepford Wives. It's just like, it was, like, it had, like, inspiration from that, but I don't feel like it was a straight up retelling of the Stepford Wives. Like, I feel like he still put a lot of his own peel, his DNA in that movie, and I think that that's what makes it special. But it's really difficult to separate the film from the experience that you had from Get Out, which I can say that I love them both, but but to me, Get Out had a greater impact on me. But I think that Us is a scarier movie, and I personally feel like Us is a straight up horror movie. I feel like this is, bottom line is that we're witnessing one of the greats in the beginning stages of his legacy. Jordan Peele is a horror fan with a unique voice that's changing the genre. You can see and feel his love for the genre in this movie, and I feel like this, like, every time something like this happens, people replicate it. I feel like there's going to be people, and that's not a problem. It's inspiration. But I feel like if you saw the trailers before Get Out, like, I feel like they're cutting trailers like Get Out now, and they're cutting trailers like Us. Like, if you look at that upcoming movie Ma with Octavia Spencer, like, there's
Which
that
movie?
It's called
Maz.
Maz.
Oh,
Okay,
it was Ma. So I
Maz.
thought you said Mama, and
I thought it was Ma.
Yeah,
but
it's Ma. It is
Maz.
Ma. Yeah.
Where it's like Maz or Ma.
Yeah, it's Maz.
Either
Ma's
way,
Place.
It's starring Octavia Spencer, but I'm not saying that it has a lot to do with Get Out because it has a black leading role. There's absolutely no negative to a black leading role, which it really also isn't something new in the genre, but is, like, horror's kind of always been ahead of the curve in the socio-political way. Like, we had William Marshall in Blackula, Romero's Night of the Living Dead with Dwayne Jones. Dawn of the Dead even had Ken Foree. Not that he was the lead actor, but he's a very prominent role in that. Candyman, Tony Todd. Even Gothica with Halle Berry. Demon Knight, Jada Pinkett. Blade, Wesley Snipes. And Bones, Snoop Dogg. But I don't know, the way that the trailers are cut, it feels like they're mimicking Peele's aesthetic in general, which happens every time something refreshing comes out. And that's even, like, you know, Paranormal Activity kicked off the whole found footage phenomenon, that, like, people are just like, oh, we can do this, and we like, everyone feels like they can make their own version of that. And yes, you can, but it's not going to be as special or authentic. And I don't know, I feel like he gave us something different, and I feel like this movie's pretty hokey, and, like, it's something made by someone who fucking loves horror movies. Like, to me, Get Out, I feel like Get Out is, like, that's a thriller with, it's got some, like, it's got horror vibes in the way that Twilight Zone has horror vibes. It's not generally scary. It's just, like, it's the mood involved, and it's something, it's different. But I don't know. I think bottom line, too, is that he just wanted, like, this movie's fun. Like, it was fun to watch. And like you had said, like, there's funny moments, and obviously you expect that when you have guys like Tim Heidecker in the movie, which I didn't even know he was in this movie.
I forgot he was in it until I saw his name come up in the opening credits. Yeah,
but I just feel like this movie, he wanted to have some fun with a grim situation. And horror at its best does that. Like that, and that's nothing new in the genre, but I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty special. But let's talk about just the movie. Let's go through the movie front to back. Well, not front to back. We'll cherry pick here. But okay, so the movie opens up with a TV set with the VHS movies beside it. You see copies of Chud, which is cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. The Goonies, which is kids helping a mongoloid in an underground setting.
Hey, you guys!
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, which features a burnt menace with one glove.
Yep.
And The Man with Two Brains. I know there's a couple other ones, but that's a Steve Martin movie. But there's a couple. There's a couple other movies in there that clearly, you know, he put them there for a reason.
Yeah. Especially when you like Chud and stuff.
Exactly. Let's talk about the themes, metaphors, and Easter eggs in this movie. So let's start off with the theme of we are our own worst enemies. So this movie deals with doppelgangers, mirror images, doubles. The movie opens up with young Adelaide. She wanders into a house of mirrors that says "Find yourself" in big lit up letters. So I feel like that's like a lot. I feel like a lot of this movie is like pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a bad thing, but at the same time I'm like, not every movie needs to be a Darren Aronofsky movie where people need to go home and be like, but what does it mean? I feel like you had said before in what you were saying, Diego, is that you can watch this movie and you can still, it's challenging, but it's not going to hurt your brain.
But you don't have to pay attention to those things.
Yeah,
in order to enjoy it or understand it even.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
There are just some certain things where, like, if you read into it, it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, totally. And then, so let's talk about the symbolism of scissors. Like, scissors are two identical objects, but when you put them together, they serve one function. And the other, like, there's tons of times in this movie where you just feel like he's referencing or paying homage to other horror movies that he loves, like horror symbolism with scissors. You have The Burning and The Exorcist 3, which has one of the scariest scenes in a movie to a lot of people. The famous scene where the patient's walking down the hall and it's like it's a nurse walking down the hall and there's like a hooded figure who comes out with scissors, and it's just one of the most effective jump scares ever made. But there's also the significance of the time 11/11. Mm-hmm. Also, so there's 4 ones. There's 4 members of the family. It's 1-to-1. There's the black flag shirts.
And it's funny because that's the thing I noticed first.
The black flag?
Well, because me and Alex both noticed it, and we actually said it to each other in the theater because we saw the carny with the black flag shirt, and it didn't seem like it was really like pushing it out, but your eyes got kind of drawn to it.
Yeah, you see that there's 4 ones.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the girl on the beach had a black flag shirt. Me and Alex were like, that's got to mean something.
Yeah, totally.
And then the 4 ones and stuff kept coming up, so we're like, okay.
Totally. And that's so with the black flag shirts, that's like the lower class carnies wearing it at the beginning when it was punk and underground to be wearing that in the 80s. Yeah. And then you flash forward to modern day where the privileged white girls are wearing it as fashion.
Shirt,
yeah, they're wearing it as fashion. And the black flag logo is 4 bars. Also, those girls are twins.
Yep.
So there's like even more symbolism there. You also see the bum at the beginning of the movie holding up a sign that says Jeremiah 11:11, which is a Bible quote. Adelaide sees the bum holding the piece of cardboard that says Jeremiah 11:11. And I looked up to find out what it exactly means. And it says, therefore, this is what the Lord says: I will bring on them a disaster they cannot escape. Although they cry to me, I will not listen to them. And and then you have times like Jason, the son, he points out Adelaide's clock that reads 11:11. When they're watching the baseball game, the score is 11:11. So there's a lot of like that symbolism there. And I feel like obviously everything in this movie is meticulously put there. Like he wanted to say something about it. He has an answer for everything, or he at least tries to. And when you get to the Hands Across America scene, like where she's watching on her TV when she's a young girl, she's seeing you guys know about the Hands Across America benefit. Do you know about that, Boozy, in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Hands Across America was a benefit event, and it was a publicity campaign staged on Sunday, May 25th, 1986, in which approximately 6.5 million people held hands in a human chain for 15 minutes along a path across the contiguous United States. With that opening scene of her watching the Hands Across America Foundation commercial, you see her using scissors to cut outlines of people holding hands. And that shows that, I feel like we should talk about the ending too.
Yeah, because you kind of have to know that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
and we're in spoiler territory, so they know, so we can talk.
Yeah,
about it.
Totally. So like, let's jump that in right now. Let's go right. Fuck, that's so messy. But do you feel like you got the ending?
Well, not overly, but I didn't mind. Yeah. I like. Somebody, I think it was what's that guy who writes John Squire?
Yeah, Freddie in Space.
Yeah. I think he tweeted, and it made perfect sense. Like, just because a movie isn't wrapped up in a perfect little bow doesn't mean it has plot holes. Yeah, and I think it was intentionally supposed to be like that. And I almost fell off the chair. No, I really actually liked the ending because it was just like the chain of people and like the helicopters in the air, like. Yeah. Not knowing what to do. I thought it was insane, but I loved it. Like, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So, let's okay. So with the plot, like with there's Adelaide goes into that house of mirrors, and she sees her doppelganger, and she screams and goes out into her family, and you're led to believe that she's just normal. Like, she was spooked from the whole situation, but what you later find out is that she was switched.
Yeah.
So and you caught on to that? So
they kind of dropped that throughout the... They breadcrumbed that for so long.
And seeing that thing too, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I saw it coming, but I also didn't see it coming so when it happened, I was like, okay, like I wasn't too shocked or surprised. I was like, I felt like this was gonna happen, but I think they executed it well.
I agree.
I feel like the tipping point for that of you knowing is after the girl gets flung from the car and she's in the tree.
Yeah. When she knows, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the point where you're like, okay,
Yeah, and it's cool, like, because I personally didn't feel like it was like so obvious right from the get-go. I think all three of us
making sounds throughout that too.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
like the weird growling noises,
and there's things about her that aren't normal.
Yeah,
but and like I'll talk about those as well. But that's like it. This goes to show that like what I took from it is that like her pop culture reference and her like social consciousness was stunted the day that she went to that beach and that she went into there, because that is when she was switched and she became part of the tethered, which the tethered, for some reason you don't know what tether means, it's a tie with a rope or chain to restrict movement. So like there's stuff with that's a little on the nose, but it sounds cool. And it's a goofy horror movie, but I don't know, that's she even uses, like, there's a scene with her chilling, like that fucking super chilling monologue where the family first, the tethered first take over the house, and she's talking and doing that. Yeah. Like it's spooky. I don't know. That, to me, that actually creeped me out. And but she even quotes the slogan for Hands Across America, which was "Our time is now." And so, like, what I took from that was that Adelaide was switched at that young of an age, and proceeded to be stuck underground, where she eventually influenced basically a revolution of tethered people, because they were all like mindless zombies down there. But she was able to speak, and she had this whole idea in her head, and she uses the exact words, "Our time is now," or "It's our time now." And they quite literally build a wall of people. And that's the other thing, is that I don't feel like this movie's even about race. And I think that Jordan Peele has said that it's not about race, but like there's clearly a little bit of like political commentary and
like stuff about like individuality and everything.
Yeah, but it's definitely not like what Get Out was.
No,
this movie really isn't.
Like
race is such a small part.
Whereas Get Out, you could tell, was making a bit of a statement. This movie had stuff in it like that, but it wasn't the point. Like, it wasn't supposed to be making a statement. And I just talking about the Hands Across America and that part of the ending too. I just like how like when the, we're in spoiler territory, whatever. When the son first sees the bum on the beach with his like bloody hands like reaching out to the sides, I didn't know if that was gonna lead to that.
Plays such a huge role.
Yeah. So.
That's what's so, like, there's so many of my favorite movies, like even like The Shining, which I know is a huge influence on Jordan Peele. Yeah. But like everything was so meticulously planned. Like there's even the scene at the beach that you're talking about, where Lupita Nyong'o, who is incredible in this movie, where she gets there and they're visiting with like Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker. He pretty much recreates the scene in Jaws of Brody sitting on the beach knowing that something bad was going to happen, but like he kind of being distracted by it. Mm-hmm. And she was all worried about what was going to happen with her kids. And I think that something definitely did happen there. But Jason, the son, is also wearing a Jaws shirt.
Yeah. So
that's a cool little like Easter egg. But let's talk about another theme that I want to get all these themes out of the way so that we can just openly discuss the entire movie. But a really prevalent theme in this movie is nature versus nurture. So the switch of Red and Adelaide at the beginning of the movie, the tethered being underground, lower class / ghetto, and then the above ground being privileged people. So I pulled up a quote from Jordan Peele talking about that, and he says, "I think one of the questions that's raised is privilege and the neglect and the neglect that sort of presumption of deserved privilege requires. And when people are on the other side of it, when people have received the rough end of the nurture argument, and they rebel or act in violence or commit crimes on that side, is that evil or is that circumstance?" And I think that's a huge role that's played throughout this movie as well. There's also the rabbit symbolism. Mm-hmm. Like that's one thing that was the one that I had the toughest time in. Like, but what does the rabbits mean? Because in my mind, they talk about how they eat these rabbits, and I'm like, okay, so everyone knows that rabbits like reproduce like crazy. Like that's the whole fucking like rabbits. Yeah. Like, so they talk about how they're eating them, so that gives them a steady source of food. But other than that, I was kind of that was lost on me. But what I found was that rabbits are most active at twilight when the sun is below the horizon, and they're associated with duality between light and darkness. So they sleep in burrows, and they are the only animals that have successfully been cloned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's another
Wait,
theme.
no, they cloned Dolly the sheep though.
They were one of the first animals to be cloned.
Dolly.
Yeah, and then I just have other little like random Easter eggs I want to mention. But at the beginning of the movie, yeah.
What about do you know about the twins when they died?
No.
When the twins die in the house later, they die in the exact same position as the twins laying down in The Shining.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like the exact same position.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Shining.
Whack-A-Mole was a game that they were playing at the fair at the beginning of the movie, which Adelaide's parents are playing a game where they are knocking moles back underground. Jordan Peele's also mentioned in countless interviews, like just I like read everything that I can with interviews with Peele and like if he's on podcasts or something. But I know that he's a fan of the 1956 horror film The Mole People.
Who isn't?
Yeah. The other thing, though, is that there's a lot of Michael Jackson in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's
what a weird time.
Yeah, I know. That's shitty timing. Because, like, there's no way he could have known that this was happening.
No.
But, yeah, so you have the Michael Jackson Thriller shirt, which he's wearing over top of a Hands Across America shirt. And then you also have the Tethered are all wearing one gloves. And Jordan Peele also quoted... He said Michael Jackson is probably the patron saint of duality, and he said the movie starts in the 80s. The duality with which I experienced him, Jackson, in that time was both as the guy that presented this outward positivity, but also the Thriller video, which scared the death to me, which scared me to death. Oh
yeah, I was going to say scared the death to me.
Jordan Peele, 2019. Also, a little cool factoid is that Us is taking place during the filming of The Lost Boys, which is because they're on the beach at the beginning.
Yeah,
of
and
the
they're
film.
like, I think they're filming a movie over there.
Yeah, and it's in the same year that they're filming The Lost Boys, and it's Santa Cruz, and in The Lost Boys it's Santa Carla, and you know that like beaches, like the colors and everything, you know that's The Lost Boys. Yeah. So the other thing is that.
Yeah.
The gloves could be referencing Freddy Krueger, and the bright red jumpsuit is also the color of Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket. Also, Michael Myers' suit. The son's name is Jason, and he's always wearing a mask.
Yeah.
He's burnt the doppelganger is burnt under his mask like Freddy Krueger, which is the thing like at the beginning of Nightmare on Elm Street. There, also a guy with one glove and a red sweater.
Yep.
Jason's doppelganger's name is Pluto, also the main mutant in The Hills Have Eyes. Also, Pluto is known as the god of the underworld in Roman mythology, and he's obsessed with fire. Pluto got its name from being the planet furthest from the sun, thus making it live in perpetual darkness.
There's another one. I don't know if you have it on there. Maybe you do, but I'm going to say it anyway. When Tim Heidecker's character and his wife, they're calling their thing Ophelia instead of Alexa because they can't say Alexa, right? Ophelia is like the Greek word for help.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they kept saying like Ophelia, and then so they're calling for help.
Crazy.
I love that scene too when the NWA starts playing.
Oh man, yeah. Like we'll talk because that's like exactly where the movie started winning me over. Because at first I was like, okay, that's pretty fucking goofy, but I'm like, but it's also pretty awesome. Yeah. But like, the other thing is like we already talked about the score like that. I got 5 on it by Luna's. Like the string version is so fucking amazing. I could listen to that all day. But there's also like if you find like I looked up, there's a Spotify playlist of just songs that Jordan Peele's picked for us.
Yeah.
And like there's Fuji's. What's the song? It's like I'm coming for you or something. But it's such a good song. I fucking love it. But I was listening to the soundtrack the past week, and it's just so good. But yeah, like.
So it's really coming down
hard
out there, yeah.
Yeah, it's like randomly snowing so fucking hard here in Saskatoon. All right, let's get the ending out of the way and then just fucking openly talk. But so I feel like, yeah, obviously you find out that Adelaide is she switched with Red. Yeah, so she's actually Red, and I feel like Red is the winner, and she ends up living above ground, and she successfully takes over her life. But did you guys feel like I had the feeling, because obviously there's a scene that you were talking about where Jason goes up to the bum on the beach. He was switched. And he was switched at a young age, I think. Jason is also a tethered.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because like, and the thing that I see a lot of people online talking about how they feel like, oh Jesus, where am I getting at here? Oh no, I haven't noticed anyone say that his you know how his mouth was burnt and everything and he couldn't talk? I feel like that was because, like, people automatically say it's because of his obsession with fire and everything, and he obviously burnt himself. But he could have also had his mouth burnt closed so he couldn't talk anymore.
That's true.
That's the thing that I took away from it. But and there's also the scene scene with the family in the car all singing "I Got 5 on It." Both Adelaide and Jason aren't able to keep time while doing the song. The two of them aren't able to. And there's so many little Easter eggs or like little things throughout the movie that are sprinkled in. That's just like Jason's tethered too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I hope Peele does, because remember how he did that video for Get Out when he read all those fan theories and like explained which. I hope he does another one of those for this movie.
I hope so as well. Yeah, but like that's, I don't know, like as far as gripes go, like because I pretty much just gave you a glowing review at the beginning here, but like I didn't think it was a perfect movie, and I don't feel like it's a masterpiece the way people are thinking about it. But you know, I think that time might prove that it could be, and that's because I thought about this movie a lot. I know it sounds like all bullshit because obviously I made notes for this episode. And I was reading off some notes.
I think it's definitely a movie that deserves rewatching, like
totally.
multiple rewatches.
Yeah, totally. But the thing is, I was someone who took a lot of heat for my nitpicking plot holes in A Quiet Place. And like that's the thing is that...
Did you see what David Hopkins posted on our Instagram?
No.
He said, he's like, you boys better not mention the word plot holes.
Oh, I didn't see that. But, no. But here's the thing though. Like, so I was called out on my nitpicks for A Quiet Place, which is a movie that I really enjoy actually. But like I was nitpicky about their use of electricity. The difference is if you're putting you like that, A Quiet Place is a survival movie and it's in a survival setting and it's very realistic. You often think about what you would do in that situation. I can 100% confirm that I have never once thought about underground clones rising up from the tunnels and fighting myself before. I know you said that you have before, but so like the plot holes for this movie didn't offend me at all. And I think like I see a lot of people who they're nitpicking or they have concerns about plot holes in this movie because of like how the underground dwellings have like pristine, clean living environments and electricity, and like why didn't they just walk up the elevator, or like why didn't they?
Well, because
like,
they were.
How did they get all the suits? How did they get their scissors? I'm like, I did not think of that at all. Because
and
you're in a fucking movie.
And also, it's not like they were just random underground mutants. They explained that they were people like being tested on and stuff and cloned.
Exactly, and I don't know. I like A Quiet Place. Yes, of course, it's like dealing with aliens and everything, so that's not entirely realistic. But to me, I'm like, this is just something so foreign to me that I just like, there's no way I'm thinking. I never had time to think about what the plot holes could be in this.
And I'm the same way.
They didn't bother me at all in this movie. But overall, I just like, I feel like he generated some real tension in this movie, and I feel like there were like I was caught off guard with the humor at first, but I'm like, why am I surprised that there's funny moments in a Jordan Peele movie? There's funny moments in Get Out too, but like, and what do you expect when you put Tim Heidecker in a role?
That's another thing that, sorry, speaking of Get Out, there's people who are eating Fruit Loops without milk. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
Well, that's
snack.
from Get Out. Yeah,
I know, but they do it in Us as well.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good snack.
Yeah,
that's a cool little Easter snack.
Yeah. Hey, Easter's in a couple of weeks too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like this was like such an ambitious effort that was all jam packed in a one, and I think that he proved that he's not a one trick pony.
Yeah.
And I like, that's the thing is that this main feature might sound like a little bit of bullshit because this is more so than ever. I'm reading off of some notes that I made, but these are all things that I generally thought about, and then to see people online taking different ideas from and everything. When I left the movie, I was like, yeah, it was awesome, but like I felt like it was a little on the nose. I'm like, oh, they're building a wall, and I'm like, oh, but wait a minute, like that's like one of 15 fucking main themes in this movie, and I think like everyone's going into it being like, oh, how's he gonna dissect race here? And it's really not, and like the whole thing about it being us. It's U.S. Like obviously, like this is where we're getting to the point where like, of course, everybody's already said this before, and the whole like, I remember I rolled my eyes and that's, everyone loved that scene. I rolled my eyes at the "We Are Americans" scene, like when like at the end of the monologue, who are you? And they're like, "We're Americans." I was like, ugh, but I'm like, at the same time, like I judged it before I let the movie play out, and by the time at the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, I get it. And I like, it's a firm hammer to the fucking nose.
I love the scene when she's when she's showing how she was in the when Red's doing like this, when Red and Adelaide are gonna have their fight, and she's explaining everything, and it shows like what Red was doing,
like the dancing,
or the fake. Well, because it wasn't Red at the time, it was Adelaide. No, wait. I don't know. It's thinking about the movie. It's hard to explain. Whatever. The movie where it shows like what's going on the surface was happening on the ground. Like, so the people in there's the roller coaster. So the people are standing there just fucking shaking.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And like the people eating, that's where they're eating the fucking rabbits live.
Yeah.
And
And that's the thing too, is that like this is not a realistic movie at all. Like we're talking about underground, like an underground society of doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, I don't understand how you could bring plot holes into this.
Yeah.
And it's the thing is, it also comes down to everybody's seen this movie, so people aren't conditioned to, that's what I felt like. This movie is pretty hokey, and I love that about it. I feel like this is Jordan Peele being like, yeah, he made a statement with us, or with Get Out, and this is him just making a horror movie. Like, that's what I personally felt like, was he was just like, I'm gonna make a fucking like a scary movie that has some intense scenes and shit. And like, I could feel his influences from his other from movies that influenced him, and I really enjoyed that. And I like that it wasn't so heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a heavy topic, but it's presented in a digestible way, and I feel like it's kind of like, you know, like I said before, people just they need a good ending. They need some relief in this bleak fucking world that we're living in right now.
There wasn't any really relief because it
was funny.
Yeah, but the movie ended up being more post-apocalyptic than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, it shows them building that wall and taking over.
But everyone's fucking dead. Like, that's the thing. Like, when they go to Santa Cruz, there's dead bodies lying everywhere. It's like, I didn't expect that to.
That's a Korn song.
Dead bodies.
It sure
lying
is.
everywhere?
Dead bodies everywhere.
Which album's that off of?
Is
Follow
that
the Leader?
Yeah, is that Follow the Leader? Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, good movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Your review from the Terror Table, I think that this is, I applaud Jordan Peele, and I thank him so much for giving us something to chew on like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's something like, I don't think, I'm confident that we will not see another movie like this year.
Yeah.
And he's doing something different, and he's making actual unique horror movies.
I have a question.
Here, send it.
Why do you both? Okay, there's that
because 7, 8, 9.
There's that specific scene where the little boy disintegrates the other little boy by making him walk into the fire. How come that wasn't used more throughout the film? I just felt like it fit the scene too well, but at the same time they never really it just feels like that power, quote unquote, was only when it needed to be in
when
a
it was
scene.
necessary for the
and I was trying to figure that out the whole time, because I really liked when they had the dancing sequence where they were like identical most of the time because of that, but I feel like they shouldn't have been able to really attack each other if they were both doing the same movement. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like, I feel like the three of us if we don't have an answer, I feel like the three of us collectively missed something there, and it could have been better.
Well, I'm wondering, maybe it's because like Red, for example, wasn't like, she had broken like a lot of the tether.
Okay.
Like by rising, like that's why she led everyone to the. Whereas like the kid hadn't, so that's why he was so easily controlled.
I guess so, but like, by using the logic of some of that stuff, it'd be like, if I ran away from my own version of myself, would my other version of myself run the other way? Yeah. Or
and see, that's the thing, is like, obviously, if he's so meticulous about every single thing in the movie, he has to. He has a reason for it, but it just might not have. He might not have conveyed it as well as he needed to. Because like, I don't know, I was like, it's a cool looking shot. Like, it's sweet watching.
It just looks like that it was in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I think that there's so many, and I think that that's because where I say that this isn't a masterpiece, I feel like he bit off a little more than he could chew. And I, like, obviously I've been praising this movie, so I don't feel bad saying that, but I'm like, there's so many different metaphors and themes and allegories in this movie that it's like, he's trying to answer all of them, and I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to wrap this up. And that's
kind of going back to my previous question, there were
fault definitely.
No, there were certain scenes where, like, after someone was killed by their doppelganger, the doppelganger started to try and act like
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Like especially
Like
the Tim
Tim
Heidecker
Heidecker.
one
Yeah,
where he was
they-
on the boat. I thought, which was really subtle comedy, is he's going like, "Hey,
That was
we're-"
fucking hilarious.
But at the same time, I didn't get why that character was doing that, because when you see Red or whatever, she seems a little more with it altogether. Is that because she had grown up the entire time with it?
Yeah,
or?
totally. They're trying to mimic them, and
Yeah, that's what that's what I was getting from that. But at the same time, it was another one of those things where it seemed like it only fit when it needed to fit.
yeah.
Also, nobody wants that boat.
No one wants that fucking boat except for the dad. I thought Winston Duke was awesome. In
Man,
that.
He's my favorite part.
Yeah,
I really
he's
liked
man.
him.
I think he's gonna do good things. Because like, what was
He's
he
great
in
in Black Panther.
Well, I was gonna say, what was he in before Black Panther? Because
I'm not even sure.
I don't think he was in a lot or not a key player. Not because he was great.
He was
in,
my favorite character.
in Black Panther.
I've never seen Black
Oh,
Panther.
but he's really good in Black Panther. He's his character is very similar, just talks with a bit
Says
more of
he's
an
in
accent.
Modern Family, and the Live with Kelly and Ryan.
So nothing really.
He
Nothing,
seems like
yeah.
he'd be like the hippest dad to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
get crazy? We could get crazy.
I really liked him, and I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Moss because like I love Mad Men,
Yeah.
and I thought she was really good in this movie. But she was such a stuck up.
and
cunt.
Lupita Nyong'o.
She was so good. Okay, but this was such a procedural episode of the Turntable because I was like, I want to get out all of these facts. But let's like,
What'd you call me?
No, but like, what were we just talking about? Sorry,
Lupita Nyong'o.
I'm on doubles now, people.
Uh-oh.
I'm drinking doubles.
Seeing triple.
No,
He's
you don't
drinking
get it.
for two.
You don't get it. I'm drinking doubles for us
Because
because there's 2 shots.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, but I put 2 shots plus a diluted, so I guess that's
triple.
Yeah, triple.
So does that mean your twin is also drinking doubles?
Who fucking knows, man? I guarantee you, if I have a twin, he's not living a worse life than I am.
Maybe this is the underground.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o. Everyone talking about how it's like she's gonna get an Oscar nomination and everything. And you know what? Like, people need to shut the fuck up. Like, everyone did that thing about Toni Collette, which she's amazing. The horror isn't gonna get fucking recognized at the Oscars. Stop showing them how badly you want it.
But Jordan Peele won one.
Yeah, but like he won it for best comedy.
That's Get
It was
Holy
for a
shit!
comedy.
I forgot about that.
And it was for a screenplay and everything. And you know what? You know, kind of like I'm
Grind your
there's-
gears?
Yeah, well, there's no way to get this off without it sounding bad. But if us, for some reason, were to get an Oscar nomination for Lupita Nyong'o, it'd be like she's a black woman. Everyone's freaking out about horror not getting recognized and black people not getting recognized. And it's just like Toni Collette is debatably better than she is in this movie in Hereditary, and she didn't get noticed. So it's like, is she getting noticed because it's right and she deserves it because she's an incredible actress and she did an amazing job, or is she getting nominated now because people are finally they're putting up a huge stink about it, and she also is black?
So either way, it's like a lose-lose
It
situation.
is, yeah. And I just think
she doesn't get recognized.
horror has never been a part of the Oscars. Stop showing them how badly you want them to accept you. It's like I love horror. I love horror because it's awesome, and I love the stories that I find in it, and I love everything about it. But I don't love it because I think like me. I don't know. I get people wanting.
You're
sorry.
rubbing on something.
I get people wanting people who deserve to be recognized to get recognition and everything like that. But that also is amazing that all these people are talking about how incredible she was, because she was. Mm-hmm. She was great. Obviously, I want her to win an Oscar because it would probably be a good feeling for her. Mm-hmm. But I think that pretty much holds no clout at this climate. Yeah. Is how fucked up the Oscars are. Sorry, this is fucked.
All that for a drop of clout.
Yeah. But no, I think I'm ready to wrap it up if you guys are. I love this. I really like this movie. I'm looking forward to watching it again. I still, if I had to compare them, which I shouldn't, I like Get Out more, but I like Get Out more. Us is cool. Us was a cool new horror movie, and I'm very pleased with it.
Yep. And yeah, I definitely want to watch it again, and I watch it with different people, because I watched it with Alex, and like he loved it, and he was trying to figure out this stuff too. But it would be cool to watch with people who haven't seen it, and see what they take away from it, and see what they pick up on and notice.
Yeah, it makes it more, I don't know, like, I know we even talked about this on the book club episode. Not everything is meant to be dissected and discussed so hard, but I think it's harmless with this.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's rewarding with this. Like, with something like this, it's not a pretentious thing for Jordan Peele to put all these hidden meanings in it or deeper messages. It's just like a trademark that he does now, and it's for me that I love talking about movies, so I love discussing and dissecting the living shit
Well,
out of them.
especially a movie, because, like, yeah, again, like, this isn't a pretentious movie, so it's easy to discuss. Like, I hate...
You would hate Under the Skin. Like, Under the Skin is a movie that gives you absolutely fucking nothing.
With Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah. I love that movie, but the first time I saw it, I hated it.
Why that movie? Why did you pick that out of all?
Because it's ambiguous to no end.
Oh, okay.
Like, there are no answers in that movie. You have to come up with them after you leave the movie.
But what about Kuso?
Kuso's just
It's on
madness
Shudder.
on screen.
It is on Shudder.
All right, well, you guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
We will be back next week with our review and discussion on Pet Sematary, featuring our friend Craig Silfan. So everyone get excited. We're about to see a Pet Sematary remake.
Sometimes
In just a few days.
being alive is cool.
But
Words
dead is
that
better.
Yeah, words I have never said. All right, thank you for listening, everyone. Check us out Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we love you all. Stay spooky.
Motherfucking spooky, my friends.